Him will be number 77, Linton Irwin, in the 350cc Honda. And then on the second row, looking down here from the tower, it is 63, Ian Thompson. He was second to Andy Kildare there in the race earlier today. Then further back we have 64 and 19. 64 Paul McMahon and 19 Edwin Gilmer. Edwin again out in the little Bultaco as we get ready for the off. Away they go. Andy Kildare should out drag them in the big 750 down into Max's corner, turn 1. Then they'll be coming out of that and through Campion on the opening lap. So Andy Kildare, I think, certainly the first hat-trick I have seen him win if he can manage to pull this one off. 3 wins over the weekend. I'm not saying it's the first time he's done it, but I think it's the first time I've ever seen him in a situation where he even could do it. So he has dominated the races yesterday. Was off, had it off yesterday in practice, a fairly big one actually, but got away with it, no injuries, and obviously has come back since then with 2 wins. So he leads out the back. It is Ian Thompson in second position on the silver faired bike there, and then Linton Irwin, the 350 Honda, is in third. I think that looks like Paul McMahon, 64, in fourth position there on another 350 Honda as they work their way down towards Lola here for the first time, and then heading up the back section there on their way into through Daly's Drift and then into 7A and 7B, and already the big extra CCs there at the 750 Honda just pulling Andy Clear. Won't be the most nimble of machines round the corners, although he has fine-tuned the frame a bit and a lot of bracing to stop any flex that was in it, so he is going through there, but you can just see the effort he has to put into manhandling it around there. But I say Andy is a fairly robust guy, so no bother to him, but I say working hard here in these conditions today. Not ideal, wrapped up in leathers. Motorcyclists or motorcycle races, they virtually have the same outfits regardless of the conditions. So cold days they can get quite cold. You'll occasionally see them going for a geely or something on top of the leathers. Well, that's kind of frowned upon to have anything other than the leathers if you go down. So coming down to complete the first of the 8 laps, Andy Kildare leads, Ian Thompson in second position, Linton Irwin is in third, 36 it is Stephen Walsh coming through in fourth position, followed by 64 Paul McMahon, and then it's number 1 Mike Meskel in that little aerial arrow he was out on in the first race. Let's see if that's what he's out on again. He's on the program there as a 400 Honda, but it was definitely a 2-stroke aerial arrow he rode in the last race. I'm not actually sure which one he rode yesterday. So heading down towards turn 3 again. Andy Kildare powers off it, coming over the top of the hill, heading down towards the long left-hander at Bridgestone. Leaders going through Bridgestone. You see the first 10 there at the end of the opening lap, the positions as they cross the line. Ian Thompson just easing away a little bit as they head down towards Lola into the first of the apexes, and then they will come round and out onto the longest straight here, I think, at Mondello, which takes them up towards 7A. A gentle curve as they head up in there, and then they drop it down the gears, then through the first one. Again, the guys just taking a fairly wide line and cutting in tight there on the 7B as they come out of it, but Kildare already down to Burns Bend on the 750 Honda, goes through there. The 500 Honda then of Ian Thompson in second position, and then it is 77 Linton Irwin still in third spot. Eddie Gilmer out again there on the little HRCA 350 Bultaco as they come up to Southside Auto's corner here, and then down to complete the second of the 8 laps. Andy Kildare, unfaired machine, tucks down again. Ian Thompson through, Linton Irwin through, then 101 coming through next. Mike Mescal. And Mike's out that time. That is the little 400 Honda he's out on. Limerick rider, Mike Mescal. Very successful a number of years ago. Stopped racing for a few years and then he came back in these sort of forgotten classic machines. And Mike starting to put the pressure on there as he goes through now on Linton Irwin. So they're in third and fourth position. Linton Irwin in third, and they're closing in interestingly in there as they go through Bridgestone on Ian Thompson in the second spot in the 500 Honda. And my goodness, Mike Mescal really getting it cranked down there. He really had it well cranked over. He's going to go for the inside as they go down into Lola. Mescal up into third position. So Mike comes down through up on the leaderboard now. Just in the end of lap 2 there, the positions, it was Stephen was 36th and 5th position, 65th, 64 Paul McMahon the 6th, and then Ed Gilmer was 7th, and the little 250, 350 Bultaco he's on. But this is through Burns Bend, and it is Andy Kildare coming through to complete lap 3. I think the bike races were originally scheduled for 8 laps, but I think they actually took a couple of laps off them this time, so I think we're maybe scheduled just to see for a 6-lapper this time. As Kildare comes through Paddock Corner, and there's Mescal going for second position. He's going to try Ian Thompson on the brakes for Southside. Just tucks in behind him as he goes through. Oh, Ian Thompson runs wide. Has Ian Thompson got a problem there? He certainly was slow in getting on the gas, and Linton Irwin, I think, make it in through in the run down here to the first corner, but no, Ian just gets back in the power of the 500 Honda. Mike Mescal just changing the body language a little bit there as he went down in to just almost convey a clear message to Ian Thompson, I'm coming through. So Mescal absolutely on a flyer. I think Andy Kildare is just too far up the road. The gap was 3.3 seconds as they went across the line, but Mike may have other ideas because he put up the fastest lap last time. He did a 2:11.217 versus Andy Kildare's 2:12.154. So he could catch him, and he's turning purple in the sectors. He's going through them, fastest through the first sector. So let's see, can Mike Mescal on the little and the 400 Honda, there he is coming through Paddock Corner. Look at the distance he's already pulled on Ian Thompson. Ian Thompson was caught there by Linton Irwin, but now seems to have stabilised and getting away back from him again as they come through. Heading out of Lola, heading up towards Burns Bend. Thompson in third position, the silver machine there, 63. Then Linton Irwin, the 77, the very distinguished background, blue background there to denote it's a 350cc machine on the number plate. Here comes Andy Kildare through Burns. Here comes the hard-charging Mike Mescal on the CB 400 Honda. Linton Irwin again in the 350 Honda. That's based on the K4 engine, and he is against Ian Thompson on the 500 Honda. They're coming down through Paddock Bend. Already the leader Andy Kildare entering Southside, coming out of Southside, and Mike Mescal is closing him down. Mescal is going to have another fastest lap. The gap was, let's see what it is now. It's down to 1.097 seconds. 2 minutes 10.386 for Mike Mescal. So Mescal on the charge, looking to take on is in. Andy Kildare just going round there, the other rider. I don't think Either of them lost too much time. If anything, Mike Mescal gained. You can see Andy Gilday pulling away on the run down towards the turn 3, but there's Mike Mescal closing as they go into the second apex, closing all the way. Gilday should ease away again as they go over the top of the hill, but he'll be on the brakes earlier as they come down towards Bridgestone. Mike Mescal will come back at him. Andy Gilday goes through there. Mike Mescal through behind him. Tall, lanky figure of Mike Mescal comes up in behind, going into Lola. Will try and close it from here around on the run down. He'll lose a little bit as they go up through Daly's Drift on the run up to 7A. Andy Gilday in the superior power of the Honda, big 750 Honda should pull away from him, but let's see if Mike can close him down on the brakes as they go into that now. Still in third position, Ian Thompson, still fourth, 77, Linton Irwin, fifth, 64, Paul McMahon, and then sixth, it's 36, Stephen Walsh, seventh is Edmund Gilmer, eighth is 677, Keith Callan, ninth is number 70, Pat Murray, and 10th is 44, Sean Henry. Here they come down into Burns. Mike Mescal getting ever closer. Will try and follow through here as they come through the left-hander. Andy Gilday may accelerate away a little bit. There's another rider just up ahead of him who may well come into play as they come down towards Paddock. They're coming through to complete 5 laps. The yellow flag with the black cross on it has been readied by the guy on the rostrum down below us to signify it's the last lap. Mike Mescal goes for the inside. That's going to be a tight turn in, but he has gone ahead. Will he run out wide? Will Andy Gilday power back through as they come down to the line? No, it's the Limerick man. Mike Mescal heads as the last lap flag goes out. Mescal leads it. Gilday goes down the outside. Gilday, remember, is looking for the hat-trick. Number 300, Bill Smith, another Newton Arts man. Well, he's ex-Newton Arts. I think he now lives in Bangor. He's part of the Andy Gilday team, all parked together down there in the paddock. But Mescal, what a ride from Mike Mescal. He has gone through Campion, he has gone over the hill down towards turn 3, and he is getting away on this 400 Honda. Andy Gilday, surely he's dropped too much to close the gap. I thought he was on for a hat trick, but Mike Mescal, the Limerick man, obviously had other ideas. Ian Thompson is still third, Linton Irwin is still fourth, number 77, 64 Paul McMahon is fifth, and 38 Stephen Walsh. But the guys round the back through Bridgestone. This is Andy Gilday, powers it up as he goes over the top of Kennedy's Rise down towards Lola, closing all the way. But Mike Mescal, using all his experience, always a very, very stylish rider, keeps it neat, keeps it tidy as he goes through there. Andy Gilday now will try and close him in on the run up to Daly's Drift, but if they can get to Daly's Drift, and there comes Gilday, he slides it through. Will Mescal try and come round the outside of him? Yes, he tries it, but Andy Gilday will let it drift out across the line, holds the line as they come through turn 7B. Now they head back towards Burns Bend. Gilday back in front, Mike Mescal trying to close in a little bit. Will he leave it here? Will he make a move? He may prefer to sit behind him and then leave it all to Paddock, and on the run up the hill to Southside Corner on the last lap, if he can stay in his wheel tracks, needs to watch he doesn't lose too much in acceleration. There you can see Andy Gilday going away, but now it's all tactics. Mike Mescal will try and come through here. There he is. There he held it out through the corner. He comes up the hill. Can he get across? Andy Gilday has tried to close him off. He's going to force him to go around the outside. Mike Mescal, if they get out of the corner, and Andy Gilday powers up the 750, Mike can do nothing about it. It is going to be a hat trick for Andy Gilday. Goes across the line, gets the checkered flag. Mike Mescal, a tremendous run in second position, and Ian Thompson will come home in third. First of the 500s, Linton Irwin again first of the 350s, and I suppose in fairness, Mike Mescal is the first 500 there. It is a 400 Honda that he's on. 64, Paul McMahon crosses the line in fifth, so a fantastic third bike race of the weekend. Waiting in sixth then for Stephen Walsh to come down. And then behind him we have Edmund Gilmer in that little 350 Bultaco. He finishes in seventh spot. Bill Smith in there on the Ducati finished another 350 in 12th position. Now we're waiting for Pat Murray on his ultra-reliable CDG50. Pat just accelerates away from Southside Motors corner, comes down, goes across the line. Another good run from Pat in 8th position. 9th. Next up should be 44, Sean Henry on another of the... In fact, that coming in there with 677. Kevin Callan comes up a place. So where is 44, Sean Henry? He was due next, but seems to have dropped down. As this time there is a machine coming slowly down, doing that favourite trick of riders. They wiggle the headstock from side to side, and there he is. So he's out of something. But Sean Henry makes it home, going across the line there, and our final finisher there, I think, will be Gavin Duffy. Bill Smith already in there behind the leaders, but the leaders now shortly will be down off the for getting ready for the presentation, and once again they will be with Jim Halligan.
And what a cracker of a race for the Carole Nash Historic Motorcycle Festival. In 3rd position we had Ian Thompson. Well done, Ian. Well done, congratulations. In 2nd position we had Robert McCrum, but Robert was using, I think, Mike Mescal's transponder, so that's why the commentary guys were picking him up. And our winner was Andy Kildee. Well done, Andy. Andy's done the triples this weekend. Well done, man. We'll just grab a quick word with Ian first. Ian, good fun?
Yeah, good fun. Good. Enjoyed the day. Good crack. But
happy to be at Mondello Park?
Oh, aye. Why not? We're racing bikes, aren't we?
Absolutely. Andy?
Fantastic.
The best trophy haul ever.
Oh, aye, very good, very good. Robert McCrum near got me there, but good crack.
Robert was down, it must be using Mike Mescal's transponder, he was flying.
Very good. I wouldn't doubt it. You wouldn't know where Robert.
Well, it's great to see you here and it's great to see you smiling. Well done. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks.
And we'll hand back up to the lads in the tower. Thank you.
Cheers.
So the Fraser Nash guys now back on track for the Dublin Grand Prix. Mark Walker, 114, going to start in pole position. Dublin Grand Prix, a title that was first awarded here at Mondello Park in 1969 when the first Formula 5000 race came over. Ran under that banner. It was actually the first day I was at Mondello. I know the circuit opened here with the shorter circuit. If you look across there from the grandstand, literally where they turn left at what we describe now as Campion Corner, it just ran along there in a little less bend round the outside of what was, well, we called it a lake. It was more of a pond, and right round the back of the paddock, I think it was 0.8 of a mile or something the circuit was long. And then for 69 it was extended with the loop down there to turn 3 and the normal circuit coming back in from there, and the Formula 5000 cars, which had engines in them similar to those if you were about earlier and saw in the cold right out there in that Lola T70. They had big American stock V8s, and whenever they made their first appearance here, it was a series started off by John Webb at Brands Hatch in England, and it was really, I suppose, almost like a step from Formula 1. In fact, there were some cars were based in Formula 1 chassis, but it was first appeared here at Mondello in 69. I think it was around July or August, and I remember coming down that day. My brother was a mechanic for Brian Nelson, who was many times winner here at Mondello. Brian didn't have a Formula 5000 car, but he had what was a Formula Ireland car at that stage, T60 Lola with a twin cam, and down with them. And I remember watching the Dublin Grand Prix. It was won, I think, that year by David Hobbs, from memory, in a 30s, and Mike Halewood, many times motorcycle champion. He finished second at Lola T142, but the title is back here today. Let's recap, and rightly so for these Fraser Nash guys who have entertained us all weekend. So on pole position, say it will be 114 Mark Walker, alongside him 102 Ian Roach. Then in the third row it's 108 Rob Moore, followed by 122 Tom Jones. He's in the second row on the third row. So there on the second row. In the third row it will be Archie Bullitt if Archie gets going. I remember he had a comment together with one of the other guys in the race earlier today. That actually did quite a damage to the red car. The wheel in it, they were trying to borrow wheels, I think, to put onto it. Actually, when they got across and made the contacts, the little wing nut, because that's essentially how the hub wing nut is held. The wheels are held on these things. They hammer them on with the hammer there to tighten them up. So the drums I can hear in the background, they were here yesterday.
And a big warm welcome to the Carole Nash. Welcome to the Carole Nash Historic Festival here at Mondello Park. We have the Fraser Nash cars on the grid for the Dublin Grand Prix, and Tom Jones, number 122. Tom, welcome to Ireland.
Thank you very much. Pleased to be here.
Having fun?
Unbelievable. Just the best weekend ever. Just the weather and everyone's been so amazing. It's just awesome. Thank you.
We've been watching you manhandle this girl around the track here. You're not afraid of it anyway, that's for sure.
No, well, thank you. It's a real privilege to drive something like this. So you've got to make the most of these opportunities, I think.
Is it your own car or is it?
No, it's not. It's it's a friend of mine owns it, and I look after it. I say look after it. I drive it.
Well, looking after it, I was watching out the back the other day. You weren't really looking after it.
No. Like I say, got to make the most of it.
It's great to see you here. So you're having fun in Ireland, and the hospitality's been good?
Just amazing. Just everywhere we've been, actually. It's just been absolutely incredible. Everyone's been so friendly and just at the best time.
Did you drive this girl over, or did she come on a trailer?
No, I cheated a little bit. I did trailer it over. I'm not that brave. Not that brave.
Well, that has to be done. Well, it's great to see you here, all right? And we're delighted that the Fraser Nash are celebrating their 100th anniversary in Ireland.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you very much. And next to him on the grid is Rob Moore. Rob, welcome to Ireland.
Thanks very much for having us here. It's been great so far. I've had a lot of fun. Drove them over on Wednesday, so hoping to drive them back tomorrow, really.
You drove this car all the way?
Yeah. We drove from drove up to Holyhead and then got to Dublin and then came over on Wednesday and a few hundred miles, and then we've got a few hundred miles to do back on Monday morning as well.
What part of the UK are you from?
I'm from the Midlands area, so Leicestershire way, but there's been about 5-6 of us going in convoy from that Leicester area, picking a few people up, so we've driven all over in convoy, and there's been quite a few Nashes driven on the road here and race here and then heading back.
I love the concept of actually driving the race car to the race and then racing and driving home.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, it's kind of what it was really done in period. They used to drive them to the Alpine Trials, race them and drive them all the way back, and they're great on the road, really. I mean, you can get a bit of luggage, don't need much, a few tools, and it's great. Even in the rain, it's not too bad because it's great fun on the road.
How long have you had this girl?
I've had this car for about 5 years now, but I've only reached it for about 2 years because it had to have a load of work done on it to kind of get it absolutely ready for racing, really. Because before I had a few bits wrong here and there, but now it's ready to go, and I've used it 2 years and drive to as many events as I can and drive back from them.
You're obviously a pretty quick driver. You're near the front.
I don't know. We get this. It's the slower grid, this one. So yeah, getting on all right. But I mean, Ian and Tom are great. So I'll have a good battle with them, I reckon.
Congratulations. Great to have you here.
Cheers. Thanks so much for everything.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if I have time for one more. I think we'll just leave it. We've run a bit late on time, so we'll pass back to Leo and Alan in the tower. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much, Jim Halligan. I'm Leo Nulty. I'm back in the commentary box. Alan Drysdale here with me from our very well-known Kirkestown. Alan, well known to us from Kirkestown, of course, and great to have him down here for any event, but certainly for the historic event where his knowledge of these cars comes back in. And I thought I was an anorak until I met Alan Drysdale. There's a lot of information in there. So we're getting ready to go with the Dublin Grand Prix. Now, we haven't had Grand Prix in Ireland for a long time, but these are original titles and original trophies of events that happened, as Alan told you, in Ireland back in the day. The first Irish Grand Prix, I think, was 1929 in the Phoenix Park. Almost 100 years later, it's back, and someone's going to win that Grand Prix today. We've got somebody stalled on the grid. What we've seen from these guys all weekend is that that's probably not an issue and will be fixed. They seem to get each other going, and away goes. Oh, in fact, that car is out, that 113 car of Eric Cabinet, that last car going by, if you're in the grandstand, the chocolate brown car, huge car, Irish history car. It's the Irish Fraser Nash this weekend. It won the Cork Grand Prix in 1935, I think, certainly back in the 1930s. Huge history with Dudley Colley, and Tony Colley, his son, raced it for many years afterwards. And there were books written about that car and all sorts of stuff, so it's great to have the car here this weekend. Real piece of Irish history, and it just slots in beautifully to the Fraser Nashes. So this one is the Dublin Grand Prix, and later on we'll have the Irish Grand Prix. That's why, if you're wondering why we're having the celebrations, the launch, the drums, all that sort of stuff. If you haven't been to Mondello before, you're very, very welcome. If you're back and you haven't been here in many, many years, you're very, very welcome. Just had lovely chats. I went across the paddock and I met Jim Boland, and I met PJ Fallon, Matt Feeney, who's very much missed by us here at Mondello. Matt running his own, you can Google him, running his own show for business these days, and he's very, very busy. In fact, he's bringing people up and down to this event for us today, so great to see Matt back down there. But a real buzz around the paddock, and this is the first of the two Grand Prix events. And this one will be slightly, we don't have the really Patrick Blakeney-Edwards, who broke the lap record earlier, is not in this one. So the Dublin Grand Prix and then the Irish Grand Prix. We do have some of the Irish Pre-55 cars in this one. So Tony Canny, the first, let's see who the first Irish car is here. It's Tony Canny in the Riley TT Sprite in 10th place. Edmund Cassidy, who's been going superbly all weekend in the Iona Special, just 1100cc, but supercharged. Then down a little bit more, Andy Johnson, Fraser Nash TT Replica in at 14th. Simon Bryan in the Blower Bentley, the big machine towering over all the rest. That's car number 8, Simon Bryan. And John Luttrell, great to see John so far up the grid. Hasn't raced with us for a while. We did say before, John's into furniture restoration and also makes bodywork for these racing cars, restores them, does some beautiful. He had a lovely little Austin 7 Special here a few years ago. He sold that, but he says he will be building another one, and he's also has a Riley Special himself. This is his father's car he's in this weekend, but great to have John back at Mondello Park. So yeah, a lot of the Irish drivers in this one as well. But it's likely to go, the title is likely to go across the water, I would imagine, Alan, because the really quick Fraser Nash guys are surprising. I mean, I knew they were going to be relatively quick. I didn't think they were going to go around here breaking the 2:10 barrier, did you?
No, absolutely not, but certainly they have been really trying very hard. And seen that one of those cars was involved in the little incident earlier on, the earlier race, when the two cars touched over there. One was about to roll over and it toppled. It stopped when it went into the rear wheel of the other car. The mudguard went up, but it actually cut through the spokes, so they had to, I think it's out now, it had red spoke wheels in the rear earlier on, but it seems to have got black ones in now. So all, again, as you say, Leo, they were all working around it. Various other teams are providing. There's one car appears just to have come out. So on is what is anticipated grid position, just slotted in. Certainly great shots from above there, just to see things looking down here as they look down towards the start finish from south side corner. The car's coming up the paddock on one side into that final hairpin. Tricky apex and that one dips out of sight, so you're committed. You have to commit to it before you actually can really see it. I think they've got out of position a little bit, some of them. That there will be no 108. Was a little bit slow away there, Rob Moore, so he's coming through to take up his position in the third slot on the grid. So on the front row at the moment we have 102 Ian Roach. Alongside him, no one at the minute. I was expecting that Mark Walker, who we saw taking a win earlier on in the GM car, but it looks as though it is a non-starter this time. They've been told to watch the lights. The lights are on. He gets the best start this time. Away they go. Oh, 102 stalls it. 102 stalls it. Or, well, didn't get first gear. So they a little bit of sorting out there to do, and I think that means that it was Rob Moore. He stalled in the green flag lap, who has gone out into the lead in the 108 car. Yep, he turns in first there. The red overalls, driving overalls.
I think that's an Irish car up to second, possibly, is it? Is that Tony Canny?
I'm not sure.
Or Ken McAvoy?
Ken McAvoy, I think, might
it's
be.
Ken McAvoy, the guy who's done a load of work in this one, running second. Oh, they're side by side. It's both Canny and McAvoy, I think. Well, they split the Fraser Nashes, the Rileys having a real go here. We didn't expect this, Alan. Great to see. That's Tony Canny, I think, just ahead of McAvoy.
It's Tony Canny, yeah, it is Tony Canny, and McAvoy in there.
Fantastic. Ken McAvoy is one of the crew that have worked so hard on this event. It's great to see him going so well. Imagine being able to go to the pub on Friday night and say, you know, I was running third in the Irish Grand Prix there.
Well, we know a guy who led Ayrton Senna for a long time. He's done it for years in a race around Mondello Park, so you can make all sorts of claims.
Google that one if you don't know what Alan's talking about. We won't get into it right now. Out onto the straight. The Rileys are going beautifully. The Fraser Nashes are struggling, bar the leader. Second and third place. The Irish guys and the Rileys in the Dublin Grand Prix now, heading up Kennedy's Rise and through Lola Corner. The long right-handed leader flicks out the tail and stays on the power, but he needs to stay on the power because the Irish boys are coming hard behind him, Alan.
Yeah, they know the lines of the track here. The visitors still trying to get to grips with Mondello and its little idiosyncrasies, but I say he is easing away a little bit there as they get down through Daly's Drift and looking into 7A and 7B. Now just watch the two Irish cars as they come back. We had another one went up through in there briefly into third in Roach. He's the guy who was slow off the line, so he's moving quickly up through the field again, and he's coming up there. I think that's the Ken McAvoy or Tony Canny he's catching there.
I think he did McAvoy on the back straight, and Ken did him back on the brakes down at the 7A. It was a bit of a Formula Ford manoeuvre. And it's and they're firing the cars round through Bahrain's bends, the aptly named right and left there. And they said Cassidy's not too far away too, in the little supercharged. They own a special.
He's very energised today. He's really getting into the spirit of things there. As these guys were always described, all arms and elbows, that's what it is, to feed the armfuls of opposite lock into it, coming back through into paddock. And look, we're using the full curve there on the way out.
New leader, have we?
And look at Cassidy that time. Almost at the gravel trap as he went through there.
Is this Ken McAvoy leading? Well, name checked him as to go by us. I think it is.
Yep.
It was a Fraser, now it's not anymore.
Yeah,
He's going to lead for a lap. This is incredible stuff. I think it might be Tony Canny. Let's do that when they go by and wait and see. It's Canny leading, yeah, but it's one of the Irish cars leading. They'll be loving this in the grandstand. We weren't expecting it. It could be an Irish winner in the Dublin Grand Prix. We were expecting the trophy to go back to the UK. It's not all over yet. I'm jumping the gun a bit there. It's just, it's one lap over, but we weren't expecting the Rileys to have a real go. And Tony Canny is absolutely flying out front, leading by 0.669 of a second from Rob Moore. Ken McAvoy, two cars in the top three for Ireland. Then Ian Roach, Tom Thornton, Ed Cassidy, Tom Jones, Simon Bryan, Charles Pitter and Sebastian Welch rounding out the top 10, Alan, at the end of lap one. Yeah, three Irishmen there in the top six. So say who wrote the script for this one, and he's still leading. He's actually getting away there as they head out the back section. Well, there's a couple of cars coming at him. There's Fraser Nash is up to second, and I don't think this is over just yet. Well, I think Roach is actually the guy on the move here, say, following that slow start. McAvoy's good on the brakes, isn't he? Ken McAvoy on the stab there down the inside. So Tony Canny still leads it. Rob Moore in second. Yeah, Tom Thornton there just blasting up to second place, and that car looks very quick in a straight line. It's ungainly looking. It doesn't look like it would make a good racing car. It's even got a full windscreen. But as we saw here, it's got a great turn of speed. She can pick up her skirts and run, Alan. Certainly can. McAvoy losing out in the drag race to Fraser Nash. Will he be able to go back on the brakes? The left of your screen there. Oh, he's on the outside. He is later on the brakes, but he's not going to go around the outside of 7A. Oh, is he? He didn't hear me with that one. He might do. Yep. Go on, Ken McAvoy around the outside. Great stuff. Joey Greenan move there, or Ayrton Senna move, depending on who you're listening to. That's it. Is Joey here today? He'll be coming up to correct. There's a lot of ex-Formula Ford racers here today. It's great to see them, yeah.
So here they come through Burns, and Tony Canny still leading it, and to say up into Tom Thompson, I think it is now there in second position, that blue car, and that looked, I think, like Edmund Cassidy went through the picture, so he still must be in, yeah, still there in sixth position.
It's going nicely. I think Thornton is the man on the move here.
Oh, absolutely.
Using all the track. Look at the body language of Tony Canny. He's crouched down behind the little air shield there and leaning into the car in the corners. Really would love to get. Oh, sideways. He's going to go round. No, he held it. Nice. Well held. I thought that was gone. He was a bit tardy, perhaps putting on the opposite lock. What would I know? He balanced it beautifully. Oh, he's going to lose out in the drag race. Yeah. Surely it's neck and neck going by the grandstand. And the UK take the lead. So the Irish car back to second place. Tom Thornton from way back and fastest lap by a significant margin. So I think it will be hard for Tony Canny, although nobody's told Tony that as he flicks it down into Max's corner. Oh, looking down into the cockpit, perhaps a missed gear there.
I think Alan. He missed the gear, yeah, he missed something. He certainly looked down briefly, and has he actually lost the pace a little bit there as he's picking it up through Campion, going through, I think, yeah, Rob Muir's closing in on him, so not quite sure what the problem is here with Tony Canny, but it looks as though he has slowed slightly. Perhaps it is only temporary. So Thornton in the lead. Canny still holding on to second position. Rob Muir in third, and Ken McAvoy was still there. He's still there in fourth as they come through. I think Roach has gone up ahead of him now. I think Roach has gone up ahead of Ken McAvoy as well in the number 102 car just as they come down, and that's Roach is going now, trying to get through on the inside of Muir there as they go through Bridgestone, so it looks as though he has a faster car. Muir drifts out a little bit wide there, and yet he's alongside him as they head down towards Lola. Thornton there, that's the car that I said looks more like Bucati blue colour as it goes through there. Drifting through Lola and on up towards Daly's Drift and then into 7A. Are we going to see Tony Canny coming back with the local expertise into this double right-hander effectively? Oh, he gets a little bit sideways there. Can't afford to do that because the guy behind him is definitely closing in. Ian Roach. And the 108 there is Edmund Cassidy going through. And who's behind Edmund there? That looks, yeah, I think that's Charles Pillar now, and the red Fraser Nash. That's the one that got hit coming through the paddock corner in the earlier race by another car. And I say that's why he has no left rear fender on.
Ken McAvoy into Brian's Pens look like Moss or Fangio in a 250F. There's a proper four-wheel drift. You don't see too many of them these days. It's great to see these drivers pushing on these skinny tires and the cars moving around so much. But Ken McAvoy will have that trademark grin on his face, no doubt. But he'd want to have it, and he'd want to be drifting like that because Ed Cassidy's coming at him in the Iona Special, Alan.
Yeah. And just looking now as they come down to complete another lap. We're just about the half distance point coming up. We're over it. In fact, there's one of these cars through there. They're trying to slower cars. They're coming upon the 115 and 109 cars. So everyone threads their way through. They're just trying to get across the track and stick onto their line. Blue flags were going out, but my goodness, they're a bit swamped. So it is Thornton who leads from 67, Tony Canny, 102 Ian Rush, 108 Rob Muir and Ken McAvoy, and they all have somehow or other, it was like threading those cars through the eye of the needle, the proverbial needle, going down there into turn one, or Max's as it's now known. Quite a difference in speed between some of these cars, but all the way down the field has been in every race so far. They've all been having their own little private battles. There's the big blower Bentley going through there of number 8, Simon Bryan, running 11th position. John Luttrell just behind them there as they go through. But here's the battle, and look at this. That is Edmund Cassidy under pressure there from Tom Jones, and then I think that's Charles Pither, yeah, in the red car in behind him. So they're starting to put the pressure now on Ken as they come down in. But meantime, out in front, we're still looking at Muir going through there. That's 1, 2, 2. Next through Bridgestone there was Tom Jones. So he's gone back down from his position on the grid, but still out front. It is the 148 Tom Thornton and the Fraser Nash FN Special. As Leo says, the big screen there, not the best aerodynamic, but certainly has quite a big engine in it, I suspect, by the look of it there. It's crying a lot of grunt when it gets in, and sideways again goes 67 Tony Canny, holding on to second position. Ian Roach has closed in on him, but hasn't really got any closer. Coming up to the 10-minute mark, 2/3 distance in the race, and Tom Thornton there coming through Burns. Tony Canny goes through in second, and then Ian Roach goes through in third. It was Rob Moore who was next up, but he's dropped back, so I think that is... There's Rob coming through, and in behind him now is Charles Pither. So Jones dropping back, 1, 2, 2 in the mix as well. Seventh as they went across the line, but I think they've moved up, and that looks like problems for Charles Pither. I think he has actually slowed there just the last time he was in shot, but the leader coming down again. It is Tom Thornton heading towards victory in the Dublin Grand Prix, followed by 67 Tony Canny. Then it is 102 Ian Roach. Then the fourth position coming down now, it is still Ken McAvoy, and Ken McAvoy has Edmund Cassidy right with him now, and Edmund that time around lapping slightly faster, a 10th, and goes for it down into Max's through. Oh, did they both go through the exit of that? It was getting mighty close as they were last in shot, and I didn't think so. I thought that Ken McAvoy was out into the gravel trap there, as Edmund Cassidy driving with a newness of purpose today. He was going through there, taking absolutely no prisoners, and Ken McAvoy hopefully will have got out of the kitty litter and joined in again. But meantime, back down to Bridgestone comes the race leader. Tom Thornton in the blue car goes through. Now on second position, it's still Tony Canny in the 67 car, but under pressure from Ian Roach in the 102 car. And then we have Edmund Cassidy followed by Rob Moore. I think that is Ken McAvoy, and Ken spins it, so not a good lap for Ken to say he got edged out a little bit there, or he ended up in the kitty litter, but a quick 360 and away he goes again, heading up towards Kennedy's Rise and down towards Lola. So that's going to lead to a change of order as Ken gets it away down towards Lola, just looking across, checking the dials there, checking the mirror to see if there's anyone coming up behind him. Meantime, just looking at a glance out the window here, we can see Simon Bryan coming down. Is that the Bentley? No, maybe that's the Elvis. I think that's the Elvis. Yeah, that's the Elvis going through. The number 11 car there going through of Nick Bennett in the 1930 Elvis Silver Eagle 2.5 litre car. So the leaders making their way back down towards a paddock, swinging through there, drifting out, leaving a bit of car's width, but my goodness, there's no car's width for Ian Roach as he comes through behind him, letting it drift right out onto the curbs. In fact, that's Tony Canny, that's Tony Canny. Ian Roach has dropped back a little bit, so Canny is back on a charge here. So he is revitalised as they come down through. Still his sights on the Dublin Grand Prix say he is starting to close the gap again. He lapped at 2:32.62 versus Tom Thornton's 2:33.4.
Yeah, the gap down from 3.1 seconds to 2.315. That's, I mean, did you see Tony Canny drift in the back of the car out? He's not there, and again, he's not messing around, Alan. He's pushing hard here.
He certainly is.
Wouldn't you? The Dublin Grand Prix.
1, 2, 2 there going through. Now moved up. Tom Jones back up into 6th position. And this is, say, a trip through the kitty litter and a spin in that lap for Ken McAvoy, but comes through in 7th. Next through will be in 8th position, 14 Shane Hoolan in the Riley, as we look at the leader going through Bridgestone. Let's see if Tony Canny can close it down a little bit. It was 2.3. I think that's closer than 2.3 to me, just as it goes through. If you just pick a spot there on the tarmac as they go over it and start counting, and you can usually get a close approximation of what the gap is. What we need is a little line. There's one there. I would say it's about 2 seconds. I think he has closed the gap a little bit, and I think now Ian Roach has got back. He's starting to come with him as well.
Oh, the Riley slowed a little bit there, Alan.
Yeah, but it slowed on the way out for some reason.
Yeah, that could be that, I think.
Remember, he looked down at something in the cockpit a couple of laps ago, but certainly it's the back end stepped out a little bit there, but still the charge is on. Just checking to see where they are. We're getting pretty close to the time. They're 14 minutes and 30, and they're coming down through paddock. I'm not sure, will they make it? They probably will, but it's going to be fairly close. There could be a checkered flag this time for them. We're just on the countdown. Yeah, I think we're on the 50 seconds. We have 10 seconds to go. If he actually knew how close it is to the time, he could just feather it a little bit. But I think, yeah, the flag is going to be going out. They're on the countdown. We'll see the movement in the flag.
Still though, Kenny's on a last lap charge here, and he's got a good run through paddock. He's got away, and the checkered flag is ready below us. Get ready in the grandstands, guys, to give these guys. This is the Dublin Grand Prix, the biggest race we've had here in many years. It's been hard fought, and it could go either way because the Irishman is having a real go here on the run to the line, but it looks like it is going to go across the water. What a great run. Run 4.8 takes the Irish Grand Prix. Tom Thornton, give him a round of applause. What about Tony Canny for Ireland in second place? That was a brave, brave effort. And as we said, Alan, he can go to the pub on Friday night and say, I led the Dublin Grand Prix, lads.
Absolutely.
What about that?
Ian Roach is coming up next, and here is Edmund Cassidy coming home to fourth. He comes home. Edmund, I say, he has been a man inspired today. So there's the second of your Irishmen home in fourth position, followed across the line there by 122 Rob Jones, and then 108 Rob Moore. He went into the paddock, Rob Moore, on the last lap. I think it's going to be a non-finisher, so that means that Ken McAvoy comes home in sixth. So the three Irish lads in the top six here of the Dublin Grand Prix. Not quite sure why Tom Jones elected to go into the pits, because if he had just came around, he would have got the position there, but it's probably a little bit unusual. They racing till the time is up. He didn't know, and look at this till the line. Wow, 123 and 116. Chris Pither and 116. Andy Newbourne just got him on the line, and Chris Pither was the guy, I say, who his car got tapped by another one in the earlier race, and he had to replace both the rear wheels. I say there was quite a bit of damage to one. Simon Bryan comes home in the blower Bentley. The Bentleys that won the Le Mans 24-hour race and sparked the name of the Bentley boys. They also raced, of course, at Phoenix Park with guys like Sammy Davis racing them. They raced in the Ards TT, held up in Northern Ireland, won the Tourist Trophy, and that's where the names of the Riley TT and all that comes from. Those cars that took part in the Ards TT, which ran, I think, from memory, the dates are something like 1927 until 1936 over the 14 miles long Ards circuit, one quite close to where I live in Bangor, and one which sometimes I would drive around bits of it quite often, and the car go across the Cumber quite often during the week. That was the Ards Straight, it was called the section outside Ards Airport. But here's another one coming down here as they come to the line. And what position is this for? But the checkered flag waves, and they are all, give them applause there as they go across the line. That was for 13th position, 106 Richard Matthews, 130 McNew, and 15 Phil Parkinson, and Eric Kavanagh all across the line there. I think we still have a couple more to come through. We have Nick Bennett in the Alvis, who I think is going to come through with Rob Moore in the pits to take 17th position. And then we're waiting for the final one, will be Richard Parsons, but he was close to them as they go through, so it may well be. No, there's still a couple more I can see coming back through. There's two more coming down through the Vannies and heading back up here. And would you believe it, these two guys coming in, they've been dicing throughout the race. It's coming in, I think, for 18th position. And I think it's 115 Richard Parsons and 109 Winston Teague. They're two of the older cars. They have been together right from the start, and here it is. It's a sprint down to the line for what will be 18th position, and one's level pegging up alongside. He's coming. It's going to be, oh, they're going to down heat at the line. Wow, he gets him right on the line. Great stuff. Oh dear, dear, dear. What a day's entertainment this has been. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
welcome to the podium presentation for the Carole Nash Historic Festival here at Mondello Park, and that was the Dublin Grand Prix. We've got Ian Harper from Motorsport Ireland to present the trophies, and in third position we have Ian Roach. Well done, Ian. Ian was sitting on pole position there, but got a bit of a bad start. Well done, Ian. And in second position we had Tony Canny. Tony struggling to get dressed. Well done, Tony.
Thank you so much.
And our winner, Tom Thornton. Well done, Tom. Congratulations, well done. Ian, you were sitting on pole position. You had a little mishap off the line, did you?
Yeah, I just thought I'd wait there for a few minutes and let a few go by and then make a race of it.
It was a bit hairy. We were standing on the pit line, and I seen you putting your hand up, and I was like, ooh, it looked tight.
Yeah, it's a bit hairy in the car, but luckily everyone drove sensibly and we got away and we were okay.
Well done. Great to see you here. Thank you. Tony.
Hi.
You're very happy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, come down. You're too tall for me.
That was wonderful. Yeah, I was really lucky. I got a wonderful start. Ended up in second place, so it got interesting really quickly, and we had a great race. The Fraser Nashes are great to see, so wonderful. Thank you.
We thought we were actually going to get it.
Looking good there until the de Havilland-engined GN went flying past me. Well done. Well done, Tom.
Well, you can say you led the Dublin Grand Prix.
Thank you. Yeah, what a privilege. Thanks, guys.
Well done. Great to have you up here. Tom, jump down. Our winner, Tom. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You look worn out from that.
It's hard work. It's a hot day, and it was a hard race.
It must be 50 degrees. I know it's the car is like an open top, but it's really warm inside.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to speculate how hot it is there.
So has Ireland treated you okay?
We've had a fantastic time. We really have. The club's got about 40 odd cars over here. And we've had a really good time. Mondello's been really good to us, and the racing's been brilliant. So we'd just like to thank everybody who's here, and everybody we've been racing against. Tony's not listening.
We're delighted to have you here, especially for the 100th anniversary. And our winner of the Dublin Grand Prix, Tom Thornton, well done. Big shout out for Tom. Woo! And we'll pass you back to Leo and Alan in the tower now.
So we're back, and it's the bike demos back out there again. A lot of our two-wheeled enthusiasts having a real fun time here this weekend. They're having a great social event as well. A lot of old bikers here today. I see Jim Halligan's ears twitching. He's an ex-biker, of course, and Alan Drysdale, of course, will be back with me in a minute. Is a bit of an expert on these machines, whereas I am. The bikes are out on track now, and the cars will be heading out afterwards from the Mondello Park collection. So that's the BMW M1 Pro car, the Ford C100, and the Lola T70. Well, I'm being saved here a little bit because Jim Halligan has just walked in here, and he's going to have a look and see who's out on track and have a look at the programme, because Jim comes from a bike background, so he might know who one or two of them are. I believe there's a few juicy machines here this weekend, Jimbo.
There's a few that you'd love to have in your collection, Leo, and one of them is heading up into Southside Motor Factors there at the moment, ridden by Dennis Clancy. It's an ex-Grand Prix 250 ridden by Dennis Clancy from Rathcoole. I think the machine is owned by Pat Duke of EMS fame. Dennis has been followed by his brother Carl there on the light blue Yamaha TZ250. They're both Grand Prix machines.
Great sound effects, isn't there, as they go by us? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They're very, very quick machines, but weigh nothing, absolutely, about 70 kilos and about 105, 110 horsepower. They were the Moto 2s for the more modern people now, but they're proper Grand Prix bikes.
It looks like they're having a real go.
Well, Dennis and Carl will be brotherly rivalry there, I'm sure.
So, as we used to say, racing for slagging rights in the bar later, perhaps.
Absolutely. And I'm just trying to see if I can see Mike Meskel. Mike Meskel was out on a YZR 500 rock machine. I can't see him on circuit. He was out all weekend, but I'm trying to have a look around and see if I can spot him. I actually believe that's Mike on the yellow machine at the back of the paddock. But in shot there now, we're looking at that's Carol Clancy on it's a Dennis Strollop, TZ250. Dennis and Carol's dad, a racer back in his day as well, Dennis Senior. I believe that machine done the Isle of Man TT. Maybe could have been ridden by Bruce Anstey even. There's Mike Meskel now on screen on the, I think it's a Yamaha OW01. It's certainly Mike's bike, and I'm not sure if Mike is on it. But
has anyone told these guys it's not a race? They look like they're having a real cut here.
And the bragging rights is a lot to be talked about in the pub later.
This is side-by-side stuff.
Yeah.
Using every inch of track anyway.
There's not so many of them on the for this last run. There was a load of bikes all weekend, and I don't see Jeff McMullen out either. Jeff was on it looks like a Barry Sheehan replica RG 500, absolutely magnificent Suzuki, beautiful, probably from the early 1980s. We're coming on to the start-finish straight now. It's Mike Meskel's OW01, been chased by it's another Yamaha TZ250, number 167. Not sure who that is. We'll have to get you on one of these bikes yet, Leo.
No, you won't see me on one of those, definitely. Not only do I know very little about them, I don't think I'd be very good on them. Would you ever have a go these days, no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The bike on the, as we're seeing on screen there now, just a second ago, was it's an ex-Souter Grand Prix machine from the first of the four-stroke era. It was a claiming technology. So there was a claiming rule in Grand Prix back in MotoGP. So if you built a bike, you could actually claim someone else's bike for the same amount. You were only allowed to spend maybe, I think it was €100,000, and that's a Souter, that yellow one, or red and black machine, a bespoke Grand Prix machine. And he's been chased by it looks like a Yamaha TZ250, a reverse cylinder machine, and that probably it's from 1988 to 1990. They made those reverse cylinder Yamahas. Quite a big crowd around, Leo.
Yeah, great to see so many people here today. I don't know about you front guys from the bike element, but certainly from the car element, you've got people that have never been here before and people that haven't been here in many, many years. It's wonderful to see it.
Yeah, there's a great mix of ages. And the Fraser Nash guys seem to be having a very social time.
Oh, they're having a ball. They're great crack. We had a barbecue here last night. Yeah, they're lovely guys. We had a barbecue here last night. They were in top form. And the funny thing is with the not so fast cars that are running the back, every time they go by the pit wall, every single lap they wave, and they're always waving back crowds on the pit wall. It's great to see it. Big interest in the bikes. If you look at the pit wall there now, there's a lot of people as the checker flag goes out to send these guys back to pits. Now we're going to go over to the Mondello Park Martin Bahrain collection cars, which will be going out on track, led by Ian Beattie. And Ian Beattie very, very, very much involved in the running of Mondello Park. He's been here longer than anybody else, I think.
I'd say he's been here longer than the tarmac.
I think Ian was probably standing in the field waiting for him to build the track back in 1968. But he's an enthusiast. He's very much an accomplished driver. So he's been entrusted with many of these priceless cars by the peer group and the Bahrain family, because they're from Martin Bahrain's collection, of course. And he's driven many of them. He's driven the NASCARs. He's driven this M1 that he's going to drive now on numerous occasions. There it is. It's absolutely beautiful. And it looks fantastic. There's two stalwarts of Motorsport Ireland on the left there, John Naylor and Aidan Harper. Aidan Harper is the latest president of Motorsport Ireland. Ken Elliott on the right hand side in full period dress. That's the chief instructor at Mondello Park, and the gentleman in the middle is Roddy Green, the man who's behind putting all this together. And so Ian Beattie is in that car. David Kennedy, there it is, great shot head on with Barry Swan on the left there. Barry arrives into every scene when something goes wrong. Himself and John Rock get there in 2 minutes. So the car ready to go. The Mondello Park workshop guys have done a great job with these cars during the week. Noel Roddy there on the right hand side, another one of our senior instructors at Mondello Park. And David Kennedy putting on his trademark black helmet, putting the visor down. And then Nicole Drought is just behind these guys in the Lola T70 now. It hasn't been running, there it is, on the right hand side. It hasn't been running particularly well this weekend, but actually went okay in the last demo, but it's been off a cylinder or two. And she was saying it clears out for a couple of hundred revs at the top end. It's not really what you want to hear with a car that potent. It's 500 or 600 brake horsepower. There it is. You can see it there. It's 1960s technology. It's all about aerodynamics, but not about aerodynamics. So it would be quite slippery through the air, but wouldn't have any downforce or anything. But we were saying earlier about these cars is they don't have traction control. Quite difficult to drive, and they're very, very quick, all three of them. So you really don't want to be standing on the bar too early. But they're getting ready to go. The doors go down. There's Ian Beattie heading away in the Bahrain collection car, the BMW M1 Pro car. Sounds fantastic. Ian moving on. Ian will give this a good run. He's well used to the car. He's driven it loads of times before. There's David Kennedy, ex-Formula 1 driver. There's Nicole Drought, Ireland's top female racing driver in the Lola T70, heading out the pit lane. Great sound effects from that car as well. So here they come now down towards Max's corner. And then through Campion Corner. Pretty apt because Nicole was one of John Campion's drivers, of course. She was one of the CJJ drivers. And a great day for her. Suzanne Campion here with us today, and she'll be out on track shortly with Billy Coleman, which is very exciting. So Ian not pushing at all. Don't worry about this. He will give it a spin before the demo is out. He's making sure he gets a bit of temperature into the tyres. These cars can be a little bit tail happy and perhaps not that user friendly, but Ian is well aware of how this one handles. So these cars were built by BMW as a road car, but these racing versions were called Pro cars, and they were built and they brought them to Grand Prix race meetings, and the Grand Prix drivers raced them on a Saturday, all exactly the same. Imagine that these days. Imagine you had Verstappen and Hamilton in similar cars on the Saturday of every Grand Prix. Glorious sound effects from them. This car was driven by Hans J. Stuck, famous German racing driver Hans Stuck, and his name's still on the side of it. Martin Bahrain then drove the car to a class win at Le Mans. So the car's had huge, huge history. It's still in pro car spec here, and Ian Beattie just driving it beautifully up to the final corner, south side Motor Factory's corner, and out onto the main straight where you give it a little bit of a stretch its legs, just a little bit. Great sound effects as he powers by the start-finish line and the grandstand. Great stuff from Ian. Nice and early on the brakes. No historics. David Kennedy as well gives the C100 a good squirt, as does Nicole Drought in the Lola T70. Great sound effects from the Lola as it goes by. It sounds like a NASCAR. It's a big American Chevy V8 in the back of that car. And Lola, of course, the company that Martin Bahrain bought and bought the assets of when they had gone into administration back in 1997 and rebuilt it into a really strong, profitable company. And it's changed hands recently. It's going to go back to producing cars and other technology services shortly. There's Nicole round turn 3, second apex. She's been racing mainly in the UK this year, although she does ride second in her class in the Irish Rallycross Championship in a Clio 172. She's in Brands Hatch next weekend in a 280 brake horsepower Mini Cooper. So very busy this year, driving many different cars. She's driving some of the C1 endurance races in the UK. Started on the front row at Donington last month, fastest lap in Anglesey the month before. So she's being very careful with these cars. They're absolutely priceless. They're certainly, this car you're looking at now, worth well in excess of €1 million. As indeed is the M1 and the Lola. probably not too far off that mark either. So great to see them back out there. And as we said earlier, it's something Martin Brain always wanted. He wanted his cars running. He didn't want them as museum pieces. So they're always kept running. They're out on track quite a lot. They go to Goodwood. So Ford C100 right out to the curb there. David Kennedy chasing down, hunting down Ian Beattie. The competitive element never ends here really at Mondello Park. These guys having a real go, but the checkered flag will be coming out shortly. down here at turn 2, except that it's not turn 2 anymore. We've got some photographers with us, we've got Ken Elliott with us, and look who we've got, Billy Coleman. He's signed the car, he's in the car, he's at the Carole Nash Historic Festival. Billy Coleman, the Mill Street maestro. It is absolutely wonderful to have him here, and there's a reason why Billy Coleman is with us. John Campion was an incredibly successful businessman, and he said 2 things motivated him. The first was his Cork school teacher who said, Campion, you'll never make anything yourself. Well, we'd love to know where he is now, because he was very, very wrong. The second was this man here, Billy Coleman, known as the Mill Street Maestro. Billy was one of the most successful and famous rally drivers ever in the all through the 70s into the 80s. He built the car himself at home in Cork, which was what inspired John, the fact that anybody could do it. Lived on a farm, came from a farming family, and he built the car himself, won Irish championships, won the British championships, became incredibly famous. He's got a huge following. John Campion was here with us a couple of years back. He brought the Formula 1 car over. Some of you will have seen that before, and he allowed Nicole, that you just saw on the Lola, and James Rowe and a couple of other drivers to drive it. Then he helped them. He set up CJJ Motorsport. John Campion did wonderful things for Irish motorsport as well as for Irish drivers, and we're honouring him today at Mondello Park in his memory by naming turn 2. There's just, if you get a great shot of it there, we're naming turn 2 Campion Corner. You guys are now all standing at Campion Corner, and Campion Corner is the corner that we're going to talk about a lot. If you're in a really quick car, it's not quite flat. It's flat in most of the saloon cars, but if you've got a really quick car, it might be a little bit of a lift here, so people will be saying, are you flat through Campion Corner? It was Boac years ago, if you're old enough to remember. It's had a couple of other names that didn't stick. This one's going to stick. We're going to remember John Campion. Now we've got Billy Coleman, and we've got Suzanne Campion all the way over from America to join us, and in celebration, she's got a lot of people with her. She's got her family with her, she's got some guests, she's got some of the CJJ drivers. Roddy Green, Billy Coleman and Suzanne Campion are going to cut the ribbon, or break the ribbon now in a second, and then they're going to spray a bit of champagne, and we will officially name turn 2 at Mondello Park Campion Corner. It's been beautifully branded. The guys from Fish Graphics were down here all week. There we go. The champagne is being popped. So Billy Coleman and Roddy Green, give it a bit of a spray, lads. Come on. Big celebration. The photographers take over. Suzanne, you'll have to do what you're told here. I know. Oh, Roddy's got early with the champagne. One round of applause in the grandstand. You're cutting, Suzanne. Oh, fantastic. There you go. Ladies and gents, you're standing at Campion Corner. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you in the grandstand. What a wonderful man and a wonderful memory, Suzanne. This is absolutely fun. This is why we're here. Welcome to Mondello Park. This is great memories with John here, Suzanne. And you've brought all these wonderful people back, and some of his drivers are here today. It's absolutely fantastic. And this just, well, this just sums it up, doesn't it? It really does. Do you know, we were saying the branding on the corner. You can almost hear John's voice when you look at that branding.
He's here. He's definitely here.
He is. And he left this this beautiful Ford Escort to the guys at Mondello Park. It takes pride of position in the museum. He's now got a corner here. He's not going to be forgotten, Suzanne. Great day.
Never.
Good
and
stuff.
Thanks to Billy Coleman, because that was John's idol.
I know, to have him here today is wonderful. I know Billy told me it was the harvest time and he hadn't got a whole lot of time to come up, but he said to me, John was a wonderful man, so I'll come up. He said that's my best Cork accent I can do. But it's great to have Billy here. It's great to have the car. It was close enough. It wasn't as good as John's accent, Suzanne. But no, wonderful. It's great to have you back here.
Not forget how to drive, by the way.
Oh, did he give it a little bit of a, yeah?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, you can do another lap with him if you like. You have the keys to the circuit now. You have a corner here. Campion Corner. Suzanne, thanks very much. Billy, thank you very, very much. And now we can officially name this Campion Corner in commentary and everything else. Great stuff. Suzanne, back to you. This is for John. Yeah, absolutely. Back to your mates, and we'll see you shortly. I think that tonight could go on a little bit longer. Billy Coleman, thank you so much. To Mondello Park management, to Roddy, to Amanda Brain, Howard, David Kennedy, all the rest for agreeing to this. It's a wonderful memory to a wonderful man, and I'm delighted to be involved in it some little bit. So happy days, great stuff. Let's get racing, and let's get racing through Campion Corner.
Yeah, hey, it's Adam Carolla. Well, let's talk about Campion Corner. I'm a big fan of John Campion. I shouldn't say I always was. I was just a big fan since I met him. I met him because I was doing a podcast about inspirational, motivated people, and I was talking to John more about business and generators and his business and the entrepreneurial spirit. I didn't know he was such a fanatic for racing, and of course, at some point we stumbled onto cars, and at some point I saw his collection, and man, what an eclectic collection. I mean, there's a lot of guys that collect, you know, Mopar, Vipers and stuff like that. And look, maybe some of you are out in the crowd, but John's collection, my goodness, that was an eclectic collection. And he was such an enthusiast and so passionate, and had so much pride in his heritage that it only seems fitting that a corner was named after him. And I'd like to think somewhere he's staring down at these proceedings and smiling as he sees a car zoom through his corner, or maybe cursing them for missing the late apex. Thank you.
Hi everybody, Jay Leno here. I just want to say what a magnificent gesture this is, naming a corner after John Campion. I couldn't think of a more deserving individual. You know, he had been here at my garage and we filmed a segment with him for my show. And although he wasn't 100%, he gave 100%. I mean, he loved this sport, he loved these cars more than anything. And I think this would be the greatest tribute to him. You know, when everyone goes around that corner, they're going to be thinking of him. And I know I certainly do quite a bit. So God bless you. Thanks for doing it. And it's a wonderful memorial.
First held in 3 successive years in the Phoenix Park in Dublin, 1929, 30 and 31, when it attracted the top drivers in the world at that stage. So we're getting ready for the off, and the drums will take us through to the green flag lap.
This is incredible. I can't actually believe I'm saying this, but hello and welcome to the Irish International Grand Prix. What a huge deal this is, live on the track here at Mondello Park, which is just a great place to be, standing with an incredible view, looking at what had to be described as some of the most beautiful vehicles on the planet. Just have a second to have a look at them. I mean, does it get sexier than that? Now, right at the front here, we have Patrick. Patrick, hello, mate, how you doing?
Yeah, very good, thanks very much. Nice to be on pole and nice to be in Mondello.
Well, the sensible money's on you, apparently. Is this a wise place to put a few quid?
I don't listen. The car's quick, and I've got to understand the circuit, and it's a really, really challenging, tricky circuit. But there's some other quick drivers out there as well, so you know, and reliability comes into it. You might get a poor start or a misgear. So,
do you feel the nerves? I mean, you're right at the front. Everyone's saying he's the guy.
Yeah, I think anybody who doesn't start a motor race with a couple of butterflies, I don't think it happens often. So,
well, I want to have a look at it. Let's have a look at the old lady down here. This is just a stunning car, number 129, right at the front, dressed in black, which is great. What's the story? Did you rebuild it yourself? Is it something you've actually put hard work and labour into?
Yeah, I mean, I bought the car as a pile of bits about 10 years ago, and we've put it together as a car and been slowly developing it, making it quicker, making it lighter, working on suspension and various dynamics with the car to make it quicker. And it is a quick car, but it's quite scary. There's no protection, there's no belts, there's no roll bars, so you've got to be careful.
Is that part of what you love about it, though?
Yes and no. If I'm honest, I prefer racing cars that have got roll cages and seat belts and fire systems and stuff. But it just changes the way that you commit to corners. You've got to be wary that self-preservation is right at the top of the list.
Well, good luck. You guys are about to take off for 15 minutes. All the best. You call yourselves a chain gang.
Yeah, well, all the cars are chain driven, of course.
Makes sense. It's great name. Good luck. I'll let you get yourself ready whenever wander down here. Let's have a look at who's in position number 2, who's probably Robert Beebe. Hello, mate. How are you doing? A quick hello. Wishing you all the best. What's it like in there?
It's very hot. Can't wait to get going.
Pre-race nerves at all? Any sort of advice for the people behind you?
Stay away, please.
Right, good luck. So that is it. Let's get it on the road now. So this is the Carole Nash Historic Festival. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Irish International Grand Prix. It's showtime.
So we're getting ready to go with the big one. Safety car drivers helping 129 to get started. Patrick Blakeney Edwards. Why would you say that is? Warm engine? Car won't start. No, I'll tell you why. He's removed everything he could from that car to try and break the lap record this weekend at Mondello Park, including the starter motor. So they need a push. So any of the guilty parties there, you can see them, they've needed a push. But it worked. He's already got the lap record. He's going to try and get it again. No doubt in this one. Patrick Blakeney Edwards, a huge name in historic motorsport. And great to have him here at Mondello Park. He heads away on the warm-up lap number 129. Very little in that car, 136 single-seater racing car. Looks absolutely beautiful. Julian Grimway, that is the blue car. Jonathan Cobb, Robert Beebe, Brian White, Eddie Williams, Theo Hunt, Jeremy Brewster, Clive Fidgen, Archie Waterfield, Jeremy Flann, Chris Chilcott, Tom Walker, Ian Bamford, David Wiley, Simon Blakeney Edwards, Dougal Cawley, Paul Baker, Joe Blakeney Edwards, Alex Peacock, Tom Thornton, and Mike New. And also coming up on our screen is the BMW Ireland safety car, but that's not eligible for the race just yet. So back here in the commentary box, we just went down and launched Campion Corner there. A little bit emotional, but really cool thing to do, remembering the wonderful John Campion here at Mondello Park, and ensuring that he'll be remembered for years to come. So thank you very much to the Bahrain family, Mondello Park management, to everybody else, to Suzanne Campion and her wonderful team of family and friends who've come over to join us here. And a great thing to have done, and what a wonderful weekend to do it. So they're coming down into Bridgestone Corner, getting the car a little bit upset, as we saw earlier with no differential. They tend to chuck them in and then stand on the power. So Alan, what do you think? Can anybody beat Mr. Blakeney Edwards in this one? It's unlikely, isn't it, if he's on form? 208 earlier on?
208, yeah, it's unlikely, but you never know. Maybe somebody's been keeping their powder dry all the way through for the glory of having won the Irish Grand Prix.
Would be a nice title, wouldn't it?
It certainly is a nice title to have. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But what a fabulous weekend entertainment these guys have provided. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And Patrick there in that interview with Tim Shaw just outlined some of the challenges they have, that you do have to sort of exercise that little bit of caution. There's very little protection within the cars themselves, and they want to avoid getting clipped or tossed out of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not a few of them called lefty or something similar, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, high-speed chains rotating under a wooden floor.
Yes,
I know they look after them very well, but that's
but
a frightening concept, Alan.
Yeah. Absolutely, but I suppose these cars, things have developed over the years. I was interested, well, there, Patrick saying, they are still developing suspension. They will learn some of the things about modern day in suspension and try to work it into at least the principles, if not into these cars as well, to make them go faster. But they raced in an age where drivers, believe it or not, believed it was actually safer to get chucked out of the car in the event of an accident, because the great danger in racing in the early years was always fire, and to say for that reason they believed, and in fact drivers were quite known sometimes even when heading towards bank or various other obstacles, to stand up and hop out and let the car go in their own.
You read stories about it, just it's incredible considering now how many straps and how many hands devices and stuff. They say, oh yes, they take a deep breath of their cigarette and launch it, bail out and
go find a drink.
Honestly, yeah. But it's still the theory, I suppose. I mean, there was a period in I think the 80s or 90s, Alan, where some of these cars were forced to run roll cages, and I mean, it's safer, but it ruined the look of some of the cars.
Yeah.
So maybe we're better off talking about something else. But they do look absolutely wonderful. They drift around more than they grip, so that the idea of one falling over or rolling is very, very unlikely.
I think that's it. It's very, very rare.
Yeah. Wonderful grid. This is the big one, ladies and gents. This is the one we can't believe we're allowed to have an Irish Grand Prix here. So thank you to Motorsport Ireland and to the RIAC. Irish Grand Prix first held back at the Phoenix Park in 1929. It's almost 100 years later, and it's back here at Mondello Park, and hopefully will be a regular occurrence. I think if we can get grids like these, well done to everybody involved. If you're a team, if you're involved in the Fraser Nashes, if you're with somebody who's driving one, if you're involved, thank you very much, and you're very welcome. The lights are out. The Irish Grand Prix is away. A lot of wheel spin.
Yeah, he's away though superbly. 136 trying to challenge him there. Julian Grimwood, as he wanted away. Remember, he chased him hard in the very first race yesterday. But Blakeney Edwards, he was very keen to get across and see it. He could just block off Grimwood coming down there in the blue car. So they're heading through Campion now, out and down over the climb towards turn 3. Oh, he's already extended, but the first two are getting away already, Leo.
They are getting away already. We kind of expected that, although I think still we'll have BB. And there he goes, BB down the inside. Nice move at the second apex of turn 3. Doesn't get it too wide. It's a lovely drift on the way out. You almost think they do a celebratory drift when they take a place. Take that. But Blakeney Edwards, as we thought, is beginning to ease away. Well, ease away is the wrong word, because he's locked to lock down into Bridgestone Corner. He fires it in, stands on the power. The solid rear axle does its thing, and he corrects it all the time with the big steering wheel. And he's an absolute master at it as he heads up Kennedy's Rise through Lola Corner now, and he's already out on the international loop here and getting up to speed on the way down the back straight. Look at the stream of cars coming through. All these different varieties and different specs of cars. Somebody off, that's BB, isn't it?
BB's, yeah. Nice
A boo-boo for BB there on the way out of Lola Corner. But that'll give us a little bit of a charge back, because these other Fraser Nash compatriots having a run at him, but he won't be too happy about that, Alan. Two of them gone by him now.
He's lost the momentum there just a little bit, so they'll catch him. So he's undone all his good work earlier in the lap. The two guys up front, though, Patrick Blakeney Edwards and Julian Grimwood, they are now, this has enabled them to further extend the gap. There is Blakeney Edwards coming through Burns. Where is the second car? Oh my goodness, he's got the full distance of the Burns bend in between. So he is really rocketing, Leo, on this opening lap. That wreck, Cordy said earlier, must be in danger. Not on this lap, but certainly in his first flying lap.
He'd probably do a respectable time from a standing start. But as you said, Alan, we were watching him yesterday and he looked really ragged and he was firing around. That was his quickest lap. And then he obviously got the head together, smoothed it down. It was slower. Maybe you have to be on the ragged edge in a Fraser Nash to get the best out of it.
I think you have to be fairly aggressive with him to extract the optimum performance. But they're coming down, remember, completing the first slow lap. They're going, I think, for 15 minutes this time. So Blakeney Edwards in the lead. The battle is really on for third. Grimwood is second, but who's going to be third as they go across the line? It is Brian White, 139 for Robert Beebe, following his little excursion there on the opening lap. And then there's a gaggle of them coming down, going across the line together, and that's for 8th position onwards there as they go across the line. And all breaking hard now down into Max's Corner, turn 1. Meantime, on the exit from Campion, it is BB trying to get up alongside Brian White. Julian Grimwade is already down into turn 3 there. BB closing in the gap, and there you can see Julian Grimwade exiting. So that must mean that already on the way into Bridgestone, or perhaps going through it, is the race leader, Patrick Blakeney Edwards. He is already through Bridgestone. In fact, who's that? That's I thought it was I think it was 126 I saw there, but it was going along the back road into the pits. 126, so that looks like a retirement for him. That's Archie Waterfield, so it looks as though his race is run. Meantime, we're looking at the 2nd place car of Julian Grimwood here as he makes his way back down towards where are we? That's going up towards 7A and 7B. So we're expecting that Blakeney Edwards is already out of 7B and on the way down towards Berlin's Benz. And BB is definitely coming back, Leo. He's challenging for this 3rd position now from Brian White.
It's intriguing to watch them on the way they guide them through the corners, starting with the steering wheel and then obviously using the throttle, and you can see the attitude of the car being adjusted all the way through the corner. I'd imagine it's a dark art to get the very last out of one of these Fraser Nash.
It must be. They're closing in 2nd position in Grimwood. I haven't seen actually Blakeney Edwards. I'm assuming he is through. Oh, he's heading up into the south side. He's in an absolute flyer. So let's see. You think 2:08 it was earlier on? I didn't actually read a time and I couldn't get it.
And here he comes now. Yeah, well spotted, Alan. Here he comes towards us. You watch the screen there as he goes by, because he's definitely pushing hard.
Oh, it's 2:13.
It's slower,
slower, but he certainly has extended the gap.
In relative terms, yeah.
The guys behind must have a little challenge, but it's still Julian Grimwood who holds it in the blue car, 136 from Brian White, 136. Then the green car of Robert Beebe. Then it's Jeremy Brewster, 146 and 147. Eddie Williams, who's been there or thereabouts in most of the races. Can he come in? Oh, that's a superb shot there, just heading out of Max's and over by one of those cars. I think Grimwood's got a little bit of a spurt on to extend the gap here, and Brian White for 2nd position. They're already going down into turn 3 there, and as they were going into it, you already saw the leader, Patrick Blakeney Edwards, was going over the hill in the reverse, heading down towards Bridgestone. Through there, just great, and 131 working hard at it again. Robert Beebe to close the gap. Oh, Brian White ran a little bit wide out onto the curb, and you can see he's paying the penalty for that. Beebe he's carried the momentum, and I think he's round the outside of him there as they go through Lola. He's coming the outside line. Look at it. Is that tyre smoke? That is something coming out of the engine. It looked like it's either blowing out of an oil breather or was it steam coming out of it, but let's just keep our eye on that. It wouldn't be unusual for these guys to have a little bit of spray out to say the drive chains and that, and the all effect that takes place in the open. They have pans underneath to collect it, but let's see if they come through there again. So BB, he went wide now. Is he actually dropping fluid onto himself? There he is. He's dropping fluid onto his own tyres. That's why he's getting so sideways. So there is a problem there. He probably is unaware of it. He'll just be aware that it's moving about. But there definitely was what looked like some oil smoke, and perhaps, it's blowing out oil, I'm pretty sure. It's blowing out fluid of some sort. I think he's noticed it now. And he's headed for the pits. So good on him. As soon as he felt it, he just had a quick look down. He obviously was aware some fluid was going out, so he's into the pits. Blakeney Edwards, his meantime, is across the line to complete lap 3. Grimwood is through in 2nd. Brian White is through in 3rd. And that means Jeremy Brewster in the 146 car comes up into 4th position. They're looking down. They seem to know what the problem is here. So they're... Well, that's interesting. They're starting to tighten the hubs. He must think the hub's leak, but I think it's leaking oil, guys. If you can hear me down there in the pit lane, it certainly was blowing something down out. I can't imagine it was loose wheels, but that's what they seem to think it was. So he's heading out again onto the track. So where are we? Just looking at the pictures here as this group comes down, going across the line, and that is 128 goes across the line there, and that's another of the Blakeney Edwards. Simon, who's in 12th position, followed by Jeremy and the one car in 13th spot, and then 14th there was Paul Baker. Meantime, the action back out on the circuit. And there is 129, the race leader, Patrick Blakeney Edwards, and we're just coming up to 8 minutes into the race, 7 minutes to go. He is heading down towards top, 7A and 7B. I was going to call them by their old name there, but they're now just known as 7A and 7B. Comes through there as he exits 7B. Julian Grimwade comes into 7A now through 7B, and the battle on now for third position, and that is between Brian White in the 139 car and the 146 car there of Jeremy Brewster. Brewster, I think, was he was just slightly slower than him last time around, but he does appear to have closed the gap down. 146 coming through. Or is that? Yeah, it is 146 there. He has gone through, and that is Jeremy Brewster in fourth position. Patrick Blakeney Edwards, the race leader, comes away from Southside Corner, down, goes across the line just at the 9-minute mark. So there's going to be another 3 laps in it. That should take them up to the 15-minute mark. I think we had hoped to run it over 20 minutes, but we're just running for the 15 from what I'm seeing on the monitor here in front of me at the moment. So Julian Grimwood still second. Jeremy Brewster is now in third in the 146 car. Turning there into Maxis and looking to see just the number of the car behind him there, and that's Brian White going through in the 139 car, and then we're Eddie Williams, and there's a great battle going through just below here, and it's 143 went through there. That was Dougal Crawley. He was followed by 4 Chris Chilcott and 145 Clive Bidger, and they're right together, and you can see them there as they get through Maxis and head up towards Campion from one full opposite lot to the other. Just looking to see where the guy who was in the pits and rejoined there following a tightening of the wheels. So I think he's still out there on track. I haven't seen him coming back down pit lane. And still that good dice going on there between number 143 and 4 for Chris Gilcott and 143 Doug Crawley. The race leader is out the back, heading down through Burnand. Has 139 over there as well. Brian White. Brian's coming through 7A and 7B, and he is also heading back towards Burnand. But I say the race leader is now on his way through paddock and up towards the final corner on this, the 5th lap. Again, he went through last time just on the 9-minute mark, so what he's lapping in 2:12, he's due but around about 11:15 he'll come down through, maybe just a little bit over that. He must have eased the pace a little bit as he goes across the line. Yeah, he's gone out there to the 2:17, so I think he's just coasting at home here now. He's got a lead. Let's just check how it is. If Julian Grimwood in the 136 car, he goes across the line, it's almost 12 seconds off a lead, and we wait then for Jeremy Brewster to come through in 3rd spot. 133 there going through. It must have been 139, Brian White. I think I misread the number on it, just as someone 3 below him, because that's the 147 car coming through next off Eddie Williams. And he's followed by 143 and then 4 Double Coffee and Chris Chilcott. And then we have that lovely little car there, the 133 car going through of Ian Bamforth. I was speaking to him earlier this morning. He was explaining the Wrigley monkey that controls the gear mechanism on top of the differential. It operates through. So another group of them coming charging against it, the same all the way down the field. These guys are dicing each other in their own little private battles. There are different capacities and all, of course, in the cars. They're not all of the same performance, just in case you're wondering why they're spread out. So I say they tend to be in their own little groups, but my goodness, Patrick Blakeney-Edwards, he is thoroughly enjoying himself there as he comes through 7A and heads down to Burn. He had it really well stepped out there, and again comes round into the left-hander, unbeaten so far this weekend, and looking as though the Irish Grand Prix title might be going to him. I think he's going to come back here somewhere around the 14-minute mark, so there's going to be another lap in it for him. He went through, sorry, just look at the screen, I thought I had a running time on, but I don't. Normally if you have a running time you can predict what the lap time next time around will be, but I think from memory he went through about 11:14 and he's lapping at 2:17, so that would suggest he's due about 13:40-ish. And he is coming down now, so he gets across the line, heads out onto, for running the 1 minute and 17 to go, so he's on his last lap. Julian Grimwood in second position. Good performance, good steady drive from him, and Jeremy Brewster in third. So good weekend, Leo, as we come to the conclusion of it all here with the Irish Grand Prix. As far as the Fraser Nash is concerned, we still have 2 races to come, the Historics and the so Blakeney-Edwards are going through, heads round here again, flicks it through the corners, coming down into Bridgestone for what should be the last time. The man with the checkered flag is on the rostrum, getting ready for Patrick Blakeney-Edwards to come home. So he has about half a lap to complete. Just looking, there is Robert Beebe still going. Yeah, he's down in 14th position following that stop. It does seem to, whatever it was, I don't know, they appeared to tighten the wheels on it, but maybe it was tire smoke was coming out unless one of the wheels was working itself loose, was what happened. Who knows? He would have known, because one of the things I was speaking to some, they say you can actually tell just by the feel of the car, you hear all the different rattles, what was going on. But there is Blakeney-Edwards through 7A, through 7B on his final lap for the 1920, what year are we in? 1920 what? 2? Yeah, 1922 Irish Grand Prix. Wow. Ran when last?
Reminiscing now. Like me talking about GT or Mont Saloons in the 70s there, yeah? Oh, what a drift through.
Superb.
A long left-hander for the last one. This is it, guys. Get ready in the grandstand. This guy's been absolutely stunning all weekend. Stand up, wave your programmes, and give him a round of applause. He's going to be the winner, the first winner of the Irish Grand Prix in almost 100 years. Patrick Blakeney-Edwards up to Southside Motor Factor for the last time on the brakes, hand outside the cockpit, a big armful of celebratory opposite lock for Blakeney-Edwards now. The checkered flag's prepared. Get ready for this in the grandstand. What a day at Mondello Park, and the Irish Grand Prix has been won at Mondello Park by Patrick Blakeney-Edwards in a dominant performance. Absolutely fantastic. Alan, isn't it great to have him here, a man of that calibre in historic racing?
Absolutely superb, and already celebrating also in second place. And Julian Grimwood, he comes down in the blue car. He's thoroughly enjoyed his weekend as well. And then we're waiting for Jeremy Brewster in third spot, number 146.
Well, fantastic stuff. Irish Grand Prix.
And look, there's a dice going on, just looking out in the distance there, going into 7A and 7B, and there's about 4 cars way down the field. You can just see the helmets there as they come through 7B now and Harding on to Burns. But let's see the leaders as they come down across the line. Now goes the 147 car, that's Eddie Williams in 4th position. We're waiting now on 5th spot, a bit of a sprint down the line, and it's 143 Dougal Carole who gets from Clive Fidgen and Chris Chilcott, and another one coming down, that's the 133 car of Ian Bamforth. And here's this battle heading down into paddock that I was looking for. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cars coming down. and they're through Paddock. They're going up towards the top of the hill at south side. Oh, and that's really closing up on the brakes. There's a late move into the inside. One of them's down the inside of the other. Oh, he's executed a block pass. Fantastic stuff as they sprint to the line. They're coming down 2 by 2. They're coming down to the line across it. Let's go, and he's going to out the line. It's 1-2-8 who just gets it right on the line there, and that was Simon Blake Edwards for 9th spot. 10th was David Wiley, and 11th was another of the Blakeney Edwards, Joe, in 11th spot, with Paul Baker in 12th. But what entertainment from these guys and girls all the way down the field. Great stuff there as they come through. What a weekend it has been for them. I say we still have 2 more races to come for the Historics and the Super Classics, and that will conclude out this Carole Nash Historic Festival. But meantime, with the presentation to the winners, we'll go over to, I think it's Jim went over to the rostrum there, but we'll see who picks it up this time.
So the car's just being lined up in front of the podium, and Jim Halligan is down there. He'll be able to have a chat with the first, second and third in the Irish Grand Prix. It's wonderful that we were just saying here in the commentary box, wonderful to have an Irish Grand Prix, wonderful to have the Fraser Nash guys over here, and wonderful to have, if you're into Goodwood or you're into historic motorsport, these are household names for you, and it's really, really cool to have them here at Mondello Park. And they're not playing around, as we saw by the way they drive these Fraser Nashes. Really steer from the rear is the name of the game for the Chain Gang boys, because they really were drifting them around beautifully. Don't go anywhere just yet. We've got 2 more races to go, and they're really, really good if yesterday is anything to take on. We've got the HRCA, the Historic, some incredibly quick cars, Crosleys, V12 Jags, V8 MGBs, Sunbeam Tigers, very, very, very quick motor cars. And then we've got the Future Classics back out as well. They've got more modern stuff like 205 GTIs, Toyota Celicas, a lot of slightly more modern classics, and they'll be out giving it their best as well.
Wow, what a race. How much fun was that? Did anyone enjoy that? That was amazing. I was trackside, I was like goosebumps for the whole thing, and it was absolutely textbook. Shall we get the winners up here now? Let's get in third place. Please put your hands together. This is amazing. This is the Irish International Grand Prix. What a big deal. That's amazing. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a young man called Dougal Corley who runs Longstone Tyres. So Dougal once said to me, Tim, you've got to get into the chain gang, you've got to get into the Fraser Nash thing. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about until I came here. And that was absolutely amazing. So honestly, you guys did so well. Right, in third place, please welcome to the stage, number 146, Jeremy Brewster. Come on, Jeremy. What a mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Take your position. How was that?
Well, hard work, but thrilling and very exciting, yeah, very rewarding.
And third place, happy with that? I mean, you did awesome, right?
Far better than expected. I had a little bit of luck, a couple of other competitors dropped back, but yeah, I'm very pleased.
Mate, you guys have got bigger balls than I have, I'll tell you what. When you're standing by the side, the speed you guys come flying around, 100, something like that?
90-ish.
190, wow. Take third place. Well, give him a round of applause. Congratulations to Jeremy. In second place, here he is, Julian Grimway. Give him a round of applause. Well done, Julian. Congratulations, mate.
How are you?
Talk me through the plan. Was it textbook?
Well, I was probably going to be following Patrick, and I kind of settled for second a little bit, but then the people kept catching me up.
I noticed that, but you still did awesomely well.
I had to put in another quick one. So.
Well, congratulations. You enjoy it? What goes through when you're doing that stuff? Are you bricking yourself? Are you in the zone? Do you forget the audience? You forget where you... What's the deal?
Yeah, you forget everything. But what was good about that race is I've finally learnt the track. It's taken 3 races.
3 races. Okay, well, give him a round of applause, please. Second place, congratulations. Thank you very much to Julian. And now here he is. I mean, this is textbook, as we know. I had a chat to Patrick at the beginning. You know, it's always best to start the race and finish the race. Please, for the winner, put your hands together for Patrick Blakeney Edwards. Thank you very much. Here he is. Patrick, congratulations. So that worked. I mean, the pressure was on you then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a pretty successful weekend for the team and the car. So I'm delighted, but mostly delighted to have the Fraser Nash Car Club at Mondello. It's been an epic weekend.
It was visceral.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It means, okay, I don't know. Fuzz says it. I think it means massive, wicked, awesome, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was massive, wicked and awesome.
It was goosebumps. It really was. It was an incredible thing to witness. Well done. For you, the pressure, as we said, was on right at the beginning. Do you forget everyone behind you and just hammer around as fast as you can?
No, I was quite cruel to Julian Grimwade at the start. I got a terrible start. He got a great start. He went left, I went left. He went right, I went right, and then managed to pull away after the hairpin. But I'm sure it didn't please him very much.
I mean, it's an awesome thing to win. What percentage of it is man, and what percentage of it is machine?
All man.
I knew I knew you were going to say that. You know which position to take. Give him a round of applause. Well done. So the winner, get up on the stage. There you go. This is where I hide out of the way. I've only got 1 pair of jeans and 1 T-shirt. Give him a round of applause. Bigger than that, guys. Come on. The winner of the Irish International Grand Prix. There we go. Patrick in first, Julian in second, and Jeremy in third. Here we go. Come on, you can get something else out quicker than that. There we go. Come on! Well, guys, give them another round of applause. Thank you very much for fantastic entertainment. The Chain Gang, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there you go. Great stuff. Thanks very much, Tim. Great coverage down at the podium. Great hilarity, and I have a feeling that celebration is only just starting. So let's get back to the action at Mondello Park Historic Festival. We've got 2 more races to go, and they're already on the grid. Jackie Corcoran in the JC Restoration Sunbeam Tiger, the mighty Sunbeam Tiger, incredibly quick machine, is on pole position with Stephen Doyle alongside him. Not as much power, but a lot less weight, and should be quicker off the line, I would imagine. Then Gareth Thompson in a BGT V8. But on the outside, there's trouble there for Bernard Foley. He stalled the BGT V8. We're going to delay the start, I would imagine. No, messy. And no lights. I'm not sure why they'd move away. The starter looks a little bit confused below me, but we should be okay. We get them all back into line again. Again, conditions not exactly perfect for this. Temperature still very high. It doesn't look as sunny. It's not as sunny as it was, but it's very, very close here at Mondello Park. If you look right at the back, Alan, you can see the Wolseley Hornet there, the red car moving in the centre of your screen. That's Steve Griffin, an absolute Mondello legend. But just over his left shoulder is the Murphy Volvo. And they're 2 guys that competed on May the 8th in 1968 here at Mondello Park.
Oh, the first meeting?
The first meeting. They both competed in the first meeting here. And they're back here on the grid. And they had a great scrap in race 1. I'm sure that'll be reenacted now. Steve Griffin, the first man to have commercial sponsorship on a racing car apparently at Mondello Park when he had the Smarties Mini many years ago. Still known for it. The 5-second board is up. We're getting ready to go. The Tiger should be a bit tardy off pole position. The red lights are on, they're out. And it's the Tiger from the outside, or the Lotus from the outside the front row. Well, Stephen Kelly with a great start as the Tiger snakes its tail. But watch out for Dave Griffin all the way from the back in the Bill Griffin Motors car. He's already weaving his way through in the Crosley 9S. Dave Griffin, always a spectacular driver. Let's see how far up he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's 11th. He's looking for 10th, but Collie Murray not letting him by. Collie Murray in the Irish-built MD GT car. So the Lotus leads the MGB GT in 2nd place, and Jackie Corcoran in the Tiger in 3rd place as they head round turn 3. Hard on the power and back up the hill now, and already the V8s are beginning to hunt down the little Lotus, Alan.
Yeah, certainly as they come down into Bridgestone here, they're going to catch him, I expect, and they're rolling out over Kennedy's Rise towards Lola. After that, they have up through Daly's Drift where they can get the chance, but once they come to the Nadgery stuff again, the Lotus should hold the advantage with Stephen Doyle. Just looking to see where the 9S is. There's the first one, Dave Griffin coming into view. David Kelly is a few positions further back from that, but it made a great drive yesterday by Dave Griffin coming through from the back of the grid, and you may well see him doing the same again in this race. Here they go now into 7A and 7B. Stephen Doyle in the Elan leads it. The Gareth Thompson, the MG in behind him. And then it is Jackie Cochran, Gareth Thompson's father-in-law. There is Bernard Foley coming up. Bernard Foley's coming up the inside of Stephen Kelly. They're trying to get through. Didn't manage at that time. Behind Stephen Kelly, it is Collie Murray then is next, and in behind him, just waiting to see who that is. He just went out a shot before I could identify. But here they are at paddock. Stephen Doyle in the Lotus Elan still leads it. Gareth Thompson, the MGB GT, in 2nd position. Then Jackie Cochran, the Sunbeam Tiger. Then it's Stephen Kelly. And then it is Bernard Foley. Behind Bernard Foley, it is Collie Murray, and then it is Dave Griffin, I think, is in behind him. But has Dave Griffin got a problem as he's coming down? Yeah, Dave Griffin is slowing coming down there shortly. In fact, the yellow flags have gone out. Yellow flags have gone out.
Safety car, maybe, is it?
Yep.
It is safety car.
It is the safety car. I just wondered why they all...
Oh, Tommy Doherty doesn't see it. Still doesn't see it. Still doesn't see it. Tommy Doherty trying to get by everybody under safety car there.
I think Steve Griffin hadn't seen it either there in the Wolseley Hornet, but so they have slowed down. It's the white car there. It's been towed in off the course. Yep.
It's so the MD GT87, the Seamus Hobbs car. That's one of Morgan Dempsey's modified MG midgets, which he built into a GT car when you were allowed to increase the capacity from 1350cc to 1600. The TMC costing came out. It was dominant, and Morgan Dempsey, ever the engineer, produced that little streamlined MG midget, originally with a Lotus twin cam in it. Seamus Hobbs has restored it beautifully. It's running an A-series engine now, but he has his eye on a twin cam engine that he said he might put into it. But a beautiful little car.
Yeah, that was the only one that went missing on the opening lap there, so the incident should be cleared. The safety car should go in this time as it comes through, unless there's anything else to be sorted out on track, so we should be racing again when they reach the flag. Safety car still leading them as they head round past Lola. On up to Daly's Drift. So the driver's going here from side to side just to try and keep the heat in the tyres. In many ways, the guy who leads, he has to decide when to increase the pace. Does he stack them up behind him? Does he try and get a little bit of break and get away? They are supposed to keep within reasonable close to each other. Just looking to see where David Kelly there. He was in 10th position, Dave Griffin 7th. So there's 3 positions between the Crossley 9S or the retro cars. They're follow on for a range of Crossley sports racing cars that were built in 1966 for 2-litre European sports car racing. So safety car is in. Stephen Doyle will increase the pace. The rest will try and get him as close to him as possible as they can get across the line, and Gareth Thompson may well get a run on him here. Stephen Doyle gets out there, a little bit of smoke from the tyres just as he comes out, but Gareth Thompson, well, let's just see, he has gone ahead and into the race. Stephen Doyle in 2nd position, Jackie Cochran in 3rd. Bernard Foley trying to get through on the inside of Stephen Kelly to take 4th position. Stephen Kelly in the Malloch just has to back out of a little bit there, almost a little bit concerned, into the car lower down that the guy in the MG or the higher car, they may not have seen him just on the inside where he was when they went through Campion, but it is Gareth Thompson. I think the last time, not yesterday, but here he ended up with Bernard Foley in the gravel trap here at Mondello, but he is using the power of this MGB. Formerly raced by GT, formerly raced by Pamela Cochran and indeed Jackie Cochran many years ago, before Jackie made the switch over to the Sunbeam Tigers. Stephen Doyle holding on to him in the Elan as they head up towards the back section of the course, going into 7A and 7B, and Gareth just easing away. You'll see Stephen Doyle should now close in a little bit in the more nimble Elan. We're looking there, Cully Murray, but there is Dave Griffin in the blue Crossley 9S. He is coming through. Stephen Kelly seems to have a problem. Remember, Bernard Foley passed him just gone out through turn 1 last time, but Stephen seems to have lost 3 places now. Whether he has a problem there, we'll just have to wait and see. In the red Malloch behind him, I can see David Kelly coming through as well, but Bernard Foley's now getting ready for an attack on Jackie Cochran, and he himself is coming under attack from Cully Murray. So Cully Murray there in the MGTD coming through. Looking at that, that's a space frame car as well. It's more of a sports racing car here than the saloon-based cars or the sports road-going sportsers up front. Here they come. Here comes Dave Griffin trying to get out round the outside of Cully Murray. He takes him in the run down towards turn 1. Then it is Stephen Kelly through in 7th. Gareth Thompson fastest lap, a 1:57.277. Stephen Doyle was a 1.166 seconds behind. The gap to watch is Dave Griffin. What was his lap time? Yeah, it was a 1:58.623, but he was in traffic, remember. Jackie Cochran there, of that leading group, at the slowest lap time, just on the 2-minute mark. So whether the rest, they have to find a way past Jackie, and let's see, Dave Griffin, I suspect, will now try and get past the MG. Bernard Foley there will know the difference in handling characteristics of the cars. He has a 42S Crossley, but look at Cully Murray. Cully Murray goes round the outside of the pair of them at Bridgestone, and he is going to outsprint them. I think, no, the MG, the superior CC's clicking, but Cully Murray will surely fire it down the inside as they go through Lola. He is through, and Dave Griffin is through as well. Dave Griffin there following him through. Can he now take it back as they head up towards Daly's Drift and into 7A and 7B? They close up on Jackie Cochran all the time that they sit behind Jackie Cochran. Gareth Thompson and Stephen Doyle are moving further ahead. There's the race leader in the green MGB GT, Gareth Thompson, coming through the green Lotus Elan the stripe, but Colin Murray, he is really giving it. He's out alongside Jackie Cochran, ran out wide there, and that has enabled both the guys to go through on the inside. Bernard Foley will be sorry that he was not on Dave Griffin's tail, because it appeared that Jackie just took a little bit of curb there as he came out of that corner. Now they're through Paddock, up the hill towards South Side Motorworks. Gareth Thompson comes through, coming down. He's going to get across the line just in a total lapse time there of about 8 minutes and 50 when he crossed the line. But what a drive this is from Colin Murray, and he takes the fastest lap with a 1:55.542. Dave Griffin a 56.144. Colin Murray's really going well here, Leo, in that car.
Colin Murray going beautifully, but that car has been around the national circuit here in, what, 56 seconds years ago. It's a full race car. It's full space frame. It was a very quick GT car, and around goes Dave Griffin. The back end gets away. We spoke about this yesterday, and it's new to him, the mid-engine thing, and he was just hovering on the edge of it. Looked perfectly comfortable with it, but I don't know, did he have to lift off there with that mid-engine long, slow spin?
I'm not sure. I know the track's been resurfaced down there, but I think there's still just that wee bit of a bump as you go in the tail went on.
There have been a few lubricants dispersed out that direction over the weekend as well, which wouldn't help. Look at this though. Murray on the outside just powers by. Can the Lotus go back at him on the brakes? I suspect it can. Oh no! Murray round the outside. But Murray's not that experienced, but he drives this car beautifully.
He certainly is. He's keeping the power on there. I think if he can just get another couple of corners, Stephen Doyle think about a move back, just a little bit of blue smoke coming out of the Elan there on the brakes. But see, Lotus Elans were always notorious for using as much almost oil as petrol. Not the Lotus Elans, but the Lotus twin cam engine. So Gareth Thompson comes through there, but it's new kid on the block, as Leah says, Colin Murray. He is really driving this car very well, and he's closing in on. Remember, just looking lap times last time around, there was almost about 1.8 seconds between them. So Colin Murray, he's getting ready to make the move already. Gareth Thompson can do nothing, but that superior brake just drops it down the inside, but let it run out nice and wide, and then apply the power. And I doubt the MGB, it should come up and match him on speed, but you should nail him again on the brakes down into maxes. Let's see what happens. May not be too keen to try him down the inside. I think he's lined him up for a move down into turn 3, Leo. Look at that. Look the way it put his power down out of there, but he's still not made it through. Oh, brave boy.
Yeah, mid-engine car.
That was the move of the day.
Yeah.
Round the outside of Campion Corner, so he christened it well there.
Yeah, that was a great move. You got to have faith in the car. Well, it doesn't get near it. There's something wrong down there.
Thompson spins.
There's something wrong, because did you notice Colin Murray missed the apex there, which he doesn't normally do? There's something on the track there, and here comes Jack. A lot of heavy artillery coming in behind him.
Now up into
it's not a great place to park. In front
so what do you do when you've got a father-in-law and a son-in-law in front of you? You try and find a way around the outside of Bridgestone.
I think Dave Griffin is catching up on these guys. Watch the left of your screen here, Alan.
Bernard's in as well there, and
here
there is Dave Griffin. Yeah,
this will be fun. Dave won't be there to make up numbers.
Jackie out sprints them all. He certainly has the fastest motor undoubtedly in a straight line.
Crosley should be quicker through here, but once that Tiger gets going, 500-600 brake horsepower, rumours of all sorts of formula of V8 engines in that one, but it's absolutely fantastic and it goes so well. Jackie drives it well too. I think there's a change at HRCA lately though with some of these sports racers. Even the Tiger can't really fight them off, you know.
Yeah, but there's something about Jackie's car that was absolute brute force. It's certainly the most impressive sounding car out, and as you say, Jackie is no mean peddler. He's a very experienced driver. He actually had a Crossley 9S at one stage too, which from memory was fitted by some brute of a V8 engine, I think, in it as well. I think he tried to replicate one of the earliest. It was for sale either last year or maybe earlier this year.
Oh, here's David Griffin.
He missed a gear.
David Kelly,
I'm pretty sure, missed a gear there.
Out of shot. He's gone by the two MGs. Now he's gone by the other Crossley. He's out over the curbs. I wonder, 2 minutes to go. He can certainly do Jackie here, I think. Jackie's slowing right down at the apex. Griffin will just run around the outside of him surely, but then the Tiger will fight. Jackie being very defensive and using all the V8 power to hold off the flying Crossley on the main straight, but I don't think that's going to last. Here comes Dave Griffin down the outside on the brakes. They'll all be a little bit on their tiptoes down at turn 3 perhaps, Alan.
Yeah,
a little bit slippy slidey down there.
Sliding again, yeah. Well, I suppose at the end of a weekend of largely historic racing, I'd say that there's some of those Razor Nashes, I mean, they operate some of them are operating total oil loss systems, that the oil actually goes out and is caught on a tray, so it's only natural there'll be some lubricant down, but that's something drivers have always had to deal with. I think if he stays in the same pace, Collie Murray is going to be back here just with about 5 seconds to go. He may get another lap in this. To say the guy is on the rostrum. He's in close contact, no doubt, with race control. Tommy Doherty coming down the Prix.
Griffin with a run around the outside. Jackie gives him no tarmac at all. So Griffin holding the centre line, one eye on the mirror, so that the other Crosley doesn't have it going again. He's going to be quicker through here. Look at this.
Yeah,
the Crosley gets the power down beautifully. Jackie has to swerve back out of the way. Now the V8 gets on song, and here it comes. But no, they can't fight off these Crosleys.
David Kelly should take him down into 7A, and they should be able to scamper away through 7B. Jackie won't have an answer to them as they go through there. You can just see they put the power down so much better. Oh, David Kelly getting a wee bit of movement in the rear end there as he was coming through as well.
Yeah, David Kelly's very quick, very competitive. You won't like the fact that Dave Griffin beat him yesterday. I think he'd fancy his chances of having to go back at him here. But the V8's dropping back. Those cars, look at Stephen Kelly in the little Malloch. Only 130 brake horsepower. Some of the other cars have that per cylinder. He's going beautifully. He's only just bought this car, Stephen Kelly, and he's absolutely flying, snapping at the heels of the big boys here, back in 7th place. And here comes Collie Murray.
Yeah, he's going to beat the full lag. He beats it there by 20 seconds, so he's now on his last lap. That'll be his first win if he can manage to take it here at Mondello. His first win in Historics this year.
Second, I think he might have had a win before in Historic, but there was a poorly supported race and he dominated it, but he's beating all the big boys this time round. It's impressive stuff from Collie Murray, really is. But Dave Griffin's up to 2nd place and pushing very hard. Fastest lap though is to Collie Murray, still a 54 dead. Here he is.
Yeah, it's been a very controlled race. I mean, he fought really hard, as you say, put in that fastest lap to get it, but he's just lapped consistently there around the 154 mark, the low 154s all the way through the rest of the race. And he heads it through Bridgestone there, heading down towards Lola now. And the guy still dicing it out for second behind him, Dave Griffin now at it, Dave Kelly in 3rd as they head out there. A little way back now, Jackie Cochran and Gareth Thompson. Gareth Thompson coming under pressure from Bernard Foley, with Stephen Kelly sitting behind them there in 7th position. Tommy Doherty comes through. He runs out of the same garage there as the race leader, Colin Murray, and then the guys going through. And that's a good run for 42 there. Johnny Flynn, say he had a head gasket blew yesterday. He rebuilt it last night, but he wasn't sure whether there was a problem in the head or the block, so much that he didn't even take it out in practice this morning. He just saved it for the race and hoped that he would get for a finish, and it looks as though he is on target for that. Steve Griffin goes through in 15th spot. Actually, he's up this time to 14th there. So we're looking for the race leader up to Southside, coming out. The checkered flag awaits, and what a drive this has been for Collie Murray, coming down, powers it out of that corner, down to the line, so he gets the applause of the grandstand as he goes through. The Crossley battle is up to Southside, but it's the newcomer on the block as far as Crossley racing cars are concerned. It is Dave Griffin and the ex-Richard Parsons car who gets it from David Kelly. He has his E-Tech engine. David Kelly has a BMW engine. Jackie Cochran holds off his son-in-law, Gareth Thompson, to take a 4th position. Gareth Thompson is 5th. Bernard Foley is 6th. And a great 7th for Steve Kelly in the Malloch. And we're waiting. There's the GT Cortina going through of number 46, Colm Hines. And currently he is finishing in 16th spot, assuming all the drivers come in. Is this the next car down, the 44 of Noel Collins in the Escort? Brendan Keane there came home behind him on the last lap. He dropped a position to him on the Malloch, and we're waiting for Tommy Doherty now, whereas out there on the circuit, I think he's just coming down into the
look at this.
corner.
Connor Cook has got ahead of Johnny Flynn.
Yeah.
Connor Cook has pretty much been unbeaten in this class. Johnny Flynn has been his closest challenger and has led most of this one, but Cook has got ahead on the final lap. They're having a real go. It's like a mod sports battle years ago.
It's been fantastic today, all day. The number of dices that have been down the field for the business. So here comes
this is not over yet,
the midget battle. Taking the line there, Leo.
Oh, Connor Cook just about, but here comes Johnny Flynn down the inside. Connor gives him the big squeeze. Oh, who's going to get it? I'll give those two guys a round of applause. The battle of the midgets, flat out, and in fact, That's for the Joe Flynn Trophy Honours, and Joe Flynn was Johnny's dad. He was a Works MG driver. He raced at Le Mans, and he was synonymous with the MG mark. Now, Conor Cook got it, I think. Did he? Let's have a look at our screen.
Yeah,
only just by oh look, 0.0001.
Thousandths of a second.
Yeah, 1,000th of a second was all the difference in it. So a great run from Johnny Flynn, and Conor Cook hangs on for that win. So the boys are already at the podium here. We might replay that run. Look at this. Oh, just about crossing the line to get a great replay there. And the great battle with the midgets. You can get into historic racing pretty cheaply with those midgets. They're not dear at all. They run a steel shell and limited modifications on an A-Series engine. They all help each other. There's always a few cars around. Liam Ruth has one. Wolfgang Schnittger has one. Conor Cook and Johnny Flynn's newly built orange car or yellow car, which is beautiful. But that was an absolutely great battle all the way to the line. And Conor Cook just about hanging on by 1,000th of a second. So fantastic stuff. But Collie Murray, what a drive, what a win for Collie Murray at this race meeting. If you're going to have a win in the HRCA, this is the one you'd want to have the win at. Absolutely fantastic. In the MD-GT, an Irish designed and built car, built in Cullion-Beg, just outside Mullingar by Morgan Dempsey back in 1988. The car was built for Peter Faulkner, and then it was raced by John Keeney, by Alan Dawson, by many, many people. And it became, Ed McInerney had it, Alan Kessie had it, and then Tommy Dock. But what a run from Collie. Great stuff, Collie. He'll be absolutely delighted with that one. Well, he looks like he's been winning races all his life. A quick wave with the brow, shaking hands there with David Kelly. Great run altogether. Jim Halligan is going to be our man on the ground and go down and get them. And when Jim is finished talking to these guys, we'll be ready to go with the precision graphics and tint future classics to round out the weekend here at Mondello Park. And what a weekend it has been at the Carole Nash Historic Festival at Mondello Park. Definitely an annual event and one that's gaining traction every year. A wonderful place to be. We've had great results all the way back, great reports all the way back. It really is great fun. And I think we're almost good to go. Okay, I think we're almost ready for the podium. We can get those top three up on the podium there. We'll hand over to Jim Halligan.
Thanks, Leo. And that was a really, really exciting race, lads. And in third position, we had David Kelly. Well done, Dave. Come on, just get clap more than that for Dave. He's done a great race. Well done, Dave. Congratulations. Well done. And in second position, we had Dave Griffin, and Dave had a bit of a spin down the back as well, so that was makes it even better. Well done, Dave. Congratulations. And our winner, is Colin Murray. Well done, Colin. And I believe it's Colin's first win in this car. Dave, good weekend?
Yeah, brilliant weekend. It's been fantastic, and the spectators and the numbers of people who are here today has been fantastic.
You're looking a bit hot. Very. It's been hot up in the tower. I apologise to all the drivers because I don't really know any. I'm a bike man, but I'm doing my best.
You're doing very well. You're doing very well.
Well done. It was a great race to watch. Congratulations. Dave, tell us about the spin.
I can't really remember much, but just I geared down too early. I was a bit slower than I expected, just battling, and the back end just went. But got back up, so delighted to get a second. Still getting used to the car, but it was a great race, great battling, great blocking, and everyone had a bit of fun, so that's all.
Great to see you up here.
Cheers, thanks.
Collie, jump down, please. Well, is that the first win in your car?
Yeah, it is, yeah. We haven't had it long, so we had a few teething problems there yesterday and qualifying and stuff, so it seems to be going better now.
Happy?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Great weekend for
Mondello and all. To see the place full again, it's great.
It actually is great to see the stands full, isn't it? So anyway, that's our top three. Thank you very much, and we'll go back to Leo and Alan in the tower. Well done, lads.
Well, we're back. Thanks very much, Jim Halligan, and the Future Classics just coming down. Look at that for perfect timing. And the Future Classics just coming down to the grid. Matt Feeney in with us there. Great to see him. Matt's doing some chauffeur work for some of our corporate customers this weekend. Matt Feeney chauffeurs, commentated with us for many, many years at Mondello Park, and it's always a joy to have him back here. So Matt's working today, as we say. So the Future Classics yesterday, quite a few of them broke the barrier time, and that's automatically, if you break a certain lap time, you automatically get a 10-second penalty. The timekeeper's added in straight away, so we know who's actually leading as opposed to who might be leading on the road. Tomas O'Rourke on the outside of the front row in the Slaney View Motors car. I was talking to him earlier, he said third gear is gone. You can only imagine how bad that's going to be in a car like a Honda Civic. It'll scream in second and die in fourth. Richard Carney, very quick driver on the front row in the AFEC, creeping just a little bit in the Vectra. Creeping a lot in the Vectra, but he gets away best. O'Rourke in first gear, into second. There's not much in it. 205 brake horsepower, we're told, in this Vectra, as Dan Byrne comes charging through from the back in the twin cam Corolla front wheel drive. But it is Carney, but he understeers wide. O'Rourke goes back at him. Melia in there too. They're side by side. Tomas O'Rourke leads and just gets ahead for turn 2. Let's see what happens when he would be pulling third gear. Well, he's hardly in fourth, although the Vectra cruises up beside him. Carney prepared to sit around the outside. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Carney sits around the outside, Alan. That's brave stuff.
Yeah, it certainly is. Let's see what happens whenever they come to the apex. I think he's going to find, the Celica goes through there as well. But Melia in the 13, the orange Celica, he's the man who kept his head yesterday when everybody else was going on to those barrier times and managed to take the win. But, oh my goodness, does he need third gear, Leo? Right here, he's enjoying the first half of the track anyway. So let's see what happens now. Surely he'll suffer once they get through Lola and on the run up through Daly's Drift to 7A. That's where he's going to reach for something. And fourth, and you would expect it to die. That, I suspect, is the start of it there with the Celica going through of number 7, Ian Thornton. So Ian Thornton takes over the lead. Carney is following him through there as they get through the little kink and then into 7A. And look who's appeared in fourth in the Mazda MX-5. Mr. Sexton.
Make that third.
Take that third indeed. Goes through.
Yeah, and here comes Dan Byrne in the little GTI, the front wheel drive Corolla. He's upgraded that from a 1.6 to a 2-litre Celica engine, and it's working quite nicely. But Thornton trying to hold back. The Vectra doesn't look as nimble as some of the other cars around it, but it's certainly very, very quick in a straight line as they head down towards the long left-hander now in Sexton. This is where the MX-5 will come into its own beautiful poise and grip and handling, and he mightn't have it in a straight line, but certainly around the twiddly bits. Both Brian and the MX-5 are very, very effective. Dan Byrne could be a danger man here, though, in the front-wheel drive Corolla. They've left O'Rourke behind and Melia. And Carney straight at high-speed pit entrance there. That was almost like an involuntary pit entrance, wasn't it? We've seen fellas go in there before, not by choice, but no.
Whenever it went there, it went fairly quick. I don't expect you'll see an adjustment and proceed here. I think this will be into the paddock. The language there, so down they go into turn 1 for the first time. What's these guys' barrier times? 2:04, is it? Yeah, because they're opening there with 2:06s, so they are going to have to be very careful because there's Richard Carney out. The gloves come off, the helmet will come off. That'll be some work for him to get that car going again for the next races. But look who's looking for a way through the inside there in the MX-5. Brian Sexton really motoring on here, but we'll just wait to see what it's like. I think some of these guys may be going ahead of the pace. Melia there was open with a 2:10. Those guys that the opening lap time to the first three were between a 2:06.2 and a 2:07.2. And I say normally they can take about 5 seconds off on a flying lap time now because they know they have these barrier times. They won't be doing that. They'll try and smooth it out and keep as close to the barrier time as possible. Oh, a little bit of curb around the inside.
Yeah, upsets them a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, really had the bouncing around, and he's on the curb on the exit as well. Sexton really has this little MX-5 pinned.
Funny the way it bounced. He thought he had bounced the left wheel over something, the way it sort of came. So maybe there's something in the suspension's just a wee bit. He may want to, I think he'll want to look at that just if he looks at the playback to see how it's reacting over the curbs. It's certainly a little bit too much movement, I think, at Leah, but then what do I know? You can see a bit more again if he takes curb out here. And Daniel Byrne. Now, Daniel Byrne, he had no compunction yesterday about breaking the times. I think he broke it more times than anyone else. Just decided he wants to see how fast this car can go. So, what do you reckon they're going for? Yeah, they're in 2-3, so I'm pretty sure those ones have already gone on if it's 2:05. But Ian Thornton still leads. Daniel Byrne in second, and Brian Sexton there in third. Raymond Melia is fourth, and Melia, let's see if there's any time start to come up. think they get the first 2 laps free or something. I thought maybe that was years ago when I read the regulations, because at first I couldn't understand how it worked. But let's see. Oh, Brian Sexton, I think, just really enjoys that little Mazda. But
Yeah, he
who
does.
has an MX-5 and doesn't enjoy driving it?
Yeah, they're lovely little cars, they really are. And where they short on power, there's so much fun. In mid-corner, they carry so much speed. They've got great grip. A little bit lost as to what's happening here at barrier time. Certainly the top 3, I would imagine, are gone below the barrier time. So it's just a matter of when their penalties come through. They'll get a 10-second penalty each, and that'll probably hand the lead to Tomás O'Rourke or Raymond Melia. O'Rourke will probably be aware after yesterday, if he can just stay ahead of Melia, he's in with a shot here, because these guys are looking for fame and fortune at the Historic Festival, I think. It's make you wonder, though, about the concept. If they can just break the barrier time that easily, what are they doing for the rest of the season in the championship races? But here's O'Rourke in the background coming towards us, Melia right with him. First 3 still together.
Yeah, they come through there, heading back down towards us into Paddock Corner, just coming into view. There is looking back. The barrier times have gone in there, so yeah, Tomás O'Rourke does now lead it from Raymond Melia. That's just the inning, so I think that is on 2:05. So we've gone back to position. The first 3 cars you see coming down on the road are not the first 3 on actual time. Yeah, so it's Thornton Van Byrne and Brian Sexton on the road, but here is the leader last time through. Goes across the line, Tomás O'Rourke and Raymond Melia, and O'Rourke there slots in. Yep, he was at 2:05. Wow, he was just above the barrier time by 35 thousandths of a second. He won't get any, well, he can get down, I suppose, to a thousandth of a second, but he wouldn't want them going any closer than that, otherwise.
Car off at turn 1, that's Thornton. Sorry, Alan, that's Thornton, isn't it? Straight ahead there in Salika. Yeah, I think it is off at turn 1. So he was running in 3rd place. There's Tomás O'Rourke, there's Melia.
Yeah.
No, Thornton's still going. It's another Salika. So
right, not sure which one that is.
Fleming, I think it might have been.
Yep.
We'll have a look when they come back around again. We certainly can't see a number from that shot, but anyway, it's Tomás O'Rourke leading in the Slaney View Motors car. Comes from a motorsport dynasty. His father, Frank O'Rourke, raced here, won over 100 races at Mondello Park. It's just some feat. He won a lot of races at Kirkistown as well. He was a dealer Opel Team Ireland driver. He owned Ferrybank Motors, still going, still family owned, down in Wexford.
Still a lot of those races of Frank's. I've watched some of them on the RICR archive or wherever it is. There's great races in there, maybe on YouTube as well, but I know that's where I've picked them up.
Yeah, no, he won a lot of races here over the years. And so did Tomás when he came. I was in college with Tomás, and he started off in a 1.3 SR Corsa, and then moved up to a 16 valve Cadet, which was incredibly quick. And he won the Irish Saloon Car Championship in that one. It was number 7 that pulled off, so that's Ian Thornton indeed, that is gone.
I just noticed the other 2 cars up front there. So Daniel Byrne and Brian Sexton, they're leading on the road, but they're currently in 7th and 8th positions. There they are, just coming down into Paddock Corner. But I say they have gone underneath the barrier time. Were they underneath it last time as well? Yeah, I think so. That's why they've both picked up 10-second penalties there in consecutive laps. And unless they've cooled things down, they may well have picked them up again. Let's see as they go across the line. We can get, yep, they both have another 10. They're 203s, both in 203s. Sexton at 203.507, so that will be another 10 seconds for them to go.
So it's O'Rourke, Melia and Fleming now. We're watching O'Rourke there in the Slaney View Motors, the Honda dealer's car just coming out of Max's corner and heading for Campion Corner. Then Melia, who won yesterday, and by virtue of winning the race yesterday, Alan, of course, he won the St. Bridget's Trophy, the first time it's ever been awarded. He looked a bit stunned up on the podium yesterday, didn't he? He did a great job, Melia, and he's relatively inexperienced, whereas the experienced drivers are deciding to go flat out and break the barrier times. These guys are doing it all correctly, and there's the order on the top left of your screen.
Yeah, O'Rourke there, and I say with that, he's the one who's lost 3rd gear, you said?
Well, he told me he lost 3rd gear, but his father was a great man for tactics, and he wouldn't have licked it off the stones if he just told me that, yeah.
Not that we would disbelieve him.
Look at the Z-Tech battle there.
It was a 5-4-7-1. And funny, I was talking to a couple of those guys this morning that were admiring one of the Fraser Nashes, and they were saying they were having a great bit of crack amongst themselves yesterday in the Fiestas.
Caleb Shanley's gone up the road, but that's Jay Donegan, I think, in his first race in the immaculate Mick Keogh car. Mick Keogh was driving the safety car yesterday. I'm sure he's around today. And then it's Brian Hutton, who's going beautifully, and Ross Archibald, who runs this class. I don't think he's driven, well, he did a lot of track days in his E-Tech, but he hasn't raced one. He has a Punto 1400. We just borrowed this car yesterday morning because he had trouble with his car, and this is great to see these guys battle. These cars eligible for future classics. So if you have a Z-Tech, you could do 4 races in one weekend if you wanted to. And if there's enough of them in there, as you can see, they have their own little squabble. All they've got to do is change the stickers from Siltec Safety, who sponsor the Z-Techs, to this sunstrip for J. O'Reilly's Precision Tint and Graphic team, company. And yeah, away you go. And they're having great fun, aren't they? These two, I think, I'm not sure if they came together. They told me that they came together, but they had already gone off when they came together, as if that was okay. That's what they told me yesterday. So, yeah, great entertainment from the Fiestas.
I think we'll move on from that conversation.
Yeah. They told me that quite happily yesterday evening. There's Tomas O'Rourke out over the curbs, massively experienced, racing here since 1988. Tomas O'Rourke went off and did rallying. I remember when he started rallying, out of school story about him. We were in college and he came in and he told us that he couldn't get a co-driver because nobody would sit in with him. He was known for being a little bit wild. And eventually he got a soft lad, he said, from the village, who couldn't read the notes, but at least he'd sit in beside him, and then they would let him go rallying. He could hang onto the cage and wave at people at the junctions. But Tomas was always a bit wild, but a very, very quick saloon car driver, and as one at the highest level we had back in the 1990s, has rallied with great success and now has a bit of fun. This is actually a rally car, and when he brought it up the first time he told me he was running too high and it was too heavy, and he's modified it a little bit, but he seems to have it running, Alan, just where you need it to be, pretty much on the barrier time.
He's banged in another 5.3, 5.7, so he's absolutely on the limit there, and just carrying the wheel there as he went through, lifting it up a little bit. Amelia coming under pressure now from the other who's that's behind him? Robert Fleming then, and the other one. He's starting to put the pressure on him. Amelia, say, was out around the 2.6 as was Fleming, so they need to watch. They say they can't increase their pace. That's it. Oh, up the dust gone up there on the inside, but O'Rourke, if he doesn't keep it, I think Sexton and Dan Byrne, they have just decided we're going for it here, because they're still in the 2.3s, taking a 10-second penalty every time and dropping further down the order. And just looking at the way they're... Oh, Sexton got him on the inside. Just coming out there on the way back over towards us, coming through the Vennies. He got through, so Brian Sexton leads the race on the road. There's the battle for second position, and Fleming has got through, and Raymond Melia. Thomas O'Rourke comes down through paddock on his own. Coming down and across the line, and they wouldn't have broken the barrier time again by any chance. Oh, Brian's got it well wound up there. And Thomas O'Rourke goes through. Here's the battle for second. Now, these guys need to watch and say, what did O'Rourke do that time? Again, he's rolled a little bit off to the 2.6. Fleming was a 2.8 and Melia was a 2.10, so I think they must have got mixed up. And Saxon, oh, does he hang on to that? Oh, best slide of the day, best catch of the day to Brian Sexton. Is that a Mazda MX-5 or a Fraser Nash?
Yeah, honestly, I was just going to say the Fraser Nash boys have been proud of that drift there. Maybe Sexton's been watching the Fraser Nashes all weekend.
Oh, there it goes again. Oh, brilliant stuff.
He'd be loving this. Brian Sexton, hugely experienced as well, former time attack champion and I think ITCC champion, was raced very successfully for many years, works on cars as well with Stone Motorsport, and is always around the paddock in any capacity at all, and he loves jumping into this little MX-5 for a bit of fun and trying to harass some of the bigger cars, but they've gone a little bit too far in terms of pace today, some of the top guys, and that's just going to drop him right back.
Well, at least he won't break the barrier time this lap. He's coming through there again, and that's between out around the back there, coming out of 7B, and Dan Byrne well up the road there from him now. I say leading the race on the road, but these guys really enjoying themselves, and Thomas O'Rourke still back there running third on the road, but the leader of this race, to say when the barrier penalties are applied, that each lap there up until now, both Daniel Byrne and Brian Sexton have taken 10 seconds. I suspect Brian won't break it this time, so he will move ahead of Dan Byrne. So here they come through. They're going to come down, and remember, it's these guys who lead on the road who determine how long the race goes on. So they hit the line there with 30 seconds to go in this final race of what has been a tremendous weekend racing here at Mondello. And Thomas O'Rourke, well, he was certainly using all the tarmac up there as he came off that final bend. And what does he do this time? Gets across the line. It's 2-6, so he's consistent. Here's Melia trying to get back at Fleming and going across the line, and they're both in the 2-6s. Melia that time was a low 2-6, a 2-6-0-8-8, so he needs to watch if he's to try and get past. He's almost in this position that he may get past, but in trying to get past, he may just break the barrier time and have to give it up. So O'Rourke leads 7 seconds by Robert Fleming. He's safe if he can afford to roll it off in this final all lap, but he probably doesn't even know yet that he's on the final lap. They just have to judge it there, trying to judge the time. I think he has eased a little bit there, though. You can tell by the poise of the car. He's actually letting it run out, but he's not under the same strain as it was earlier when he was really pressurising it in through the corners. Where's our two leaders on the road? I can see just looking out over the window here. Brian Sexton went into 7A and 7B, so they must be on their way back down into Burns. The two guys, yeah, I can see Dan Byrne now. There he is, just gone down in there on the road. He had a bit of a lock-up. Brian Sexton closing in on. There's our race leader coming out of 7B, Thomas O'Rourke in the Honda Civic.
This is it, final lap of the final race of the weekend here at Mondello Park. Thomas O'Rourke up onto two wheels there, almost in celebration. Many years racing experience. Hasn't been back racing with us for a while and appeared back for a little bit of fun. He still has an Astra that had gone to rally spec and he brought back to race spec, but he's brought this ex-rally Civic out lately. And here he comes, Thomas O'Rourke through Paddock Corner, up over the inside curve, looking good as the barrier breakers go across the line. They're great entertainment, but they're not going to feature in this one. The man that's going to win this race is that outside corner. He's down to second gear. He's looking for third that he told us he didn't have. I suspect he does have third gear. And here he comes towards the line, lifting off and making sure he doesn't make any mistakes. And give him a round of applause for the last win of the weekend. Thomas O'Rourke from Wexford takes the win. No. And just about for second place. It's going to be close, Alan.
Yeah, and it's interesting here to say, Melia, yeah, he gets it there very
I think
close.
Simon Dean might get fourth.
6-0-2-2, Robert Fleming, yep.
Here he comes, Simon Dean from Dean Motors. Let's watch this when he goes across the line.
He does, he gets fourth.
He gets fourth, and then Keogh and the Punto Apart may get up to fifth. The boys are going to drop back that far. A good steady run for Keogh.
I think Daniel Byrne has only 2 laps. The first lap, yes, and yesterday's race, and the last lap in today's race that he didn't break the barrier.
Really, yeah. He's obviously having great fun in
and
the
Brad
car.
Sexton, just for good measure, I think he get back under it there. Yeah, he did a 4.817 in the last lap. So
of course he did. What about the Z-Tech battle? They must be coming through, and Caleb should be leading this one. He's been a revelation this year. He's in his second year of the class in the Siltec class, and he's hanging around with the big boys up the front, and he's just driven away from the less experienced drivers here. Prepares the car himself, and always pictures of him spraying it and retouching up wings if there's any damage. He really does prepare it beautifully, and here he comes for his first, I suppose, virtual win. It's not his Fiesta Z-Tech race, but he's first at a Z-Tech's home, and he'll be absolutely delighted with this one now, Caleb, as he goes through to take the checkered flag in the Spirit Motor Group car. Great stuff from him. Then it's going to be Jay Donegan, and I think that's Jay's first race. Pretty impressive stuff. Mick Keogh might lose his drive here in the Donegan Motor Services car, beautifully turned out there in Green Hills, Dublin. Then it's these two guys have battled all the way through, and it's Ross Archibald just about holding off the immaculate car of Brian Hutton there in a great Fiesta Z-Tech battle. Fiesta Z-Tech, the biggest class that races here on normal race days. Of course, they've had almost 40 cars at some race meetings this weekend. Speaking of them, there's Neil Murphy, the series sponsor there, doing a few laps in the paddock in one of the Z-Tech cars. He's already beginning to clear up in anticipation of an evening out tonight, I'd imagine. There's going to be a lot of people that are quite relieved, and they've worked very hard all week, and well done to everybody. First of all, to you, to the spectators, for coming. Thank you so much. I see you all streaming the grandstand. What an appreciative crowd. Wonderful to see them waving programs and clapping at winners and just having a good time. To anybody who displayed in the paddock, it's been absolutely wonderful. To Martin and his team at See It Live, the coverage gets better and better. Thank you so much. There's the result of that one. And Jimbo, it will be down on the podium in just a few minutes' time to go through them. and then we will just wind up here with what has been an absolutely incredible race meeting at Mondello Park. I don't remember as successful a race meeting in recent years, but I think Jim Halligan may already be down on the podium and getting ready to chat to first, second and third in the Precision Tint Future Classics.
Thanks,
okay, handing over to Jim Halligan.
And thanks, Leo. And in third position, we had Robert Fleming. Well done, Robert. Congratulations. Third, yeah. He gets a bottle of gin. Raymond Melia in second position. Raymond, well done. Congratulations. And our runaway winner, Tomas O'Rourke. Well done, man. And we have just time for a quick word with Tomas. Jump down, Tomas, if you can, for 1 second. Been a great weekend for you.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, considering had a problem with not third gear, so just had to try and manage it and work out the quickest way around without third.
Did you do the whole weekend without third, yeah?
I lost, I think, the fourth lap on yesterday race. Yeah.
Well, I've a book of excuses as well, don't worry.
You keep checking for a while to make sure it's really gone, but you just forget about it and try and work around it. So, yeah, it wasn't easy because the Hondas, once you go out of VTEC, you have very little power, so it's hard to keep it up to VTEC.
Well, it's great to see you here. We're under a little bit of time for our pressure for time. I'll hand you back to Leo Nolte up in the tower. Thanks, Leo.
Thanks very much, Jim Halligan. Well, what a weekend at Mondello Park. It's we've worked hard with the ICCR over the last couple of seasons here. Motor racing has come up, but this is something completely different. A historic festival, not just a race meeting, but a festival, a reunion, just a great bit of fun. There's been loads of stuff going on all weekend. A lot of people we've got to thank here. Firstly, Roddy Green, the team at Mondello Park, the operations team. They've been absolutely brilliant, and they've done so well. But the place looks fantastic. All the people that came and displayed, all the ex-racing drivers who came up here, the racing drivers themselves who gave us wonderful racing. Of course, the chain gang, the Fraser Nash guys. They've been absolutely brilliant on and off the track. They've given us great entertainment. They're going to take home those 2 big trophies, and hopefully they'll bring them back next year and we can have another go at trying winning them. They've had a wonderful time. They're celebrating 100 years at Fraser Nash, so they're not finished just yet. They've got a gala ball and a few other events, and I think they're probably equally adept at them as they are at hurling those chain-driven cars around. To the other race classes, to Ken McAvoy, Liam Ruth, all the guys in the HRCA, they worked tirelessly over the last number of months to ensure that everything would work and to bring over our friends in Fraser Nash. I think it's the start of something big. The Historic Festival has always been an intrinsic part of Mondello Park over the last few years, but certainly it's getting bigger and it's getting better. The Brain family, it's great to have them here. David Kennedy and Howard Dawson and all these people who are behind the running of Mondello Park. Roddy Green and his team have done a great job. To have Suzanne Campion and her family and friends here has been thrilling all weekend, and to name Campion Corner in honour of the wonderful John Campion has made everyone smile. We thought it might be a little bit sad, but absolutely not. The stories are flowing about John Campion. There's a lot of corporate customers down in the suite having great fun. They're still down there, I think. And if you want to know more about racing at Mondello Park, mondellopark.ie. You want to come down and drive a car at mondellopark.ie. Motor racing website is iccr.ie. Finally, to the marshals. First, thankfully they didn't get wet or soaked or frozen. All they had needed was a little bit of sunblock and a little bit of water. They did a great job all weekend. We didn't have too many incidents. When we did, they were right there straight away. So I think it's time for a well-deserved sherbet in the bar for anybody involved in the running of this event today. Once again, to Martin and the team at See It Live, thank you so much for great coverage for both days of the weekend, for Alan Drysdale and Jim Halligan for helping me out with the coverage. It's been a great weekend. Until the next time, we'll talk to you then.